Пошли. Все вместе. Какие ваши доказательства?
They want you to comply.
Cancel culture is about canceling.
Кокаином.
Up yours. Woke moralists. Up yours.
This is systematic bullying that's happening.
Woke moralists. Up yours.
And they believe that they can then
Woke
shut us
moralists.
up.
Up around and find out.
Up yours. Woke moralists.
They seem animalistic is what I mean.
No, they're worse than animals.
The woke mob, they ruin everything.
They stop Ben Shapiro from going to events and speaking. They stop Ann Coulter from doing it.
I will never surrender even a single inch of ground to a pitchfork mob.
You never cave to the mob.
We will never bow to the mob. Ever. No matter what.
Do you see the final expression of cancel culture in terrorist groups like
Up yours.
We'll see who cancels who.
Hey, look who's here.
Everybody.
Look who's back.
I'm pumped for this episode.
We have Eric Adams Killer here today.
We have the new mayor of New York City right here.
Yeah, that's how the rules work, right? You're now the mayor of New York. Congratulations.
You defeated him. Yeah. You get to assume that position.
Y'all are so silly. Thank you.
Olay, how have you been?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm working to death. I turned 30 and developed a bunch of health problems. I swear to you. And I like every day is something like I literally I get up yesterday. I have a heart monitor now to my boyfriend. Like, look at this. This sexy. But they're monitoring. They're figuring it out. I have an autoimmune disorder that's whooping my ass, and now they're trying to figure out what's wrong with my heart. But outside of that, everything is great. Everything is really great.
This has got to be like the New York City version of Havana syndrome or something. Mayor Adams has targeted you, and you're now feeling sick. You're not under the weather. They can't figure out what it is. They've strapped you up to this thing. It's got to be what's going on.
No, definitely, absolutely. Oh, look at the chat.
NYPD is doing some sort of new LRAD.
Oh, they're on my ass. Oh, NYPD is on my ass.
Those tweets were insane.
So unhinged.
The next day.
I was like, here's the issue. The only issue for me, right, is like the more that they lose in the court of public opinion and they're getting ratioed and shit, I'm just like, are these fools gonna retaliate? Because they're going out of their way to try to alert every precinct to me. And I live in a black neighborhood, which means my neighborhood is littered with police. So now I'm just like, I need to change my hair. Do I wear a hat?
Yeah, at least until like the publicity dies down, because like you were blowing up after that interview was published. And let me just say really quick, LOL to all the people who thought that Olay wasn't gonna go ham on him because she was smiling in the picture.
Oh,
you all look so
with that photo, yeah,
that's
ridiculous.
Yeah, you destroyed him.
If I was to guess, after seeing that photo the first time, before I saw the interview, and I saw that photo of Olay with Eric Adams, my first guess would have been, oh wow, Olay joined the administration. No, I'm joking.
Oh yes, no. It actually
the new chief of police.
I was like, damn, I didn't even know my haters didn't like me on this kind of level. Because really, like, well, why would you assume this? I was like, y'all know I'm like a defense attorney, right? Like I cross cops. I don't get it. I was like, y'all a lot, especially because so much of my following are people who followed me because of viral moments on Rising. I was like, it's not Rising. Was it not you seeing me argue with a right-wing person? Like, and I don't even dislike Robbie. We've been to lunch. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, y'all have zero faith in me. It was actually, there were people saying, there was this comment where someone was like, they were like, oh, I bet you would have gone to dinner with him after this. Is y'all so-called movement lawyer? I was like, ain't that some shit? The bitch can't even.
I don't
smell
think he would have
pork.
gone for dinner with you. I think he was so terrified. He had to go to church, didn't he? After
I actually heard that Mayor Adams invited Olay afterwards to sushi with the boys. So she turned
sushi with the boys. Hell yeah.
He did text me, but that is the extent of any of our communication. He texted me after the interview. That is.
So actually, let me ask actually, because I've been dying to know this actually.
We have a lot of questions, Olay. So
okay,
but so you're in there. You guys do the interview, and I'm sure we'll go back and talk about some stuff. But I got to know, what was it like when the show was over, cameras were off? What did he say to you? What did he do? How did this? How did you leave? How did you exit the building unscathed by NY? Like, how did you not walk out in cuffs?
First of all, his team was sitting behind me looking stressed. That was kind of a nice barometer for me of how the interview was going. Like, I looked behind me, and they would. Like the one guy, there was a white guy, a Latino guy, and a black guy. The Latino guy was smiling. The black guy was like this, and the white guy was like this. And then he's trying to wrap it up from behind, like they're like, we have more questions.
How did that?
Can I ask how it even came about? Like,
that's what I wanted to know.
How did you end up in the room?
Did they know you were going to be there?
Yeah, how did they do background on this?
I don't know what they know. I know this is so what happened was maybe the weekend before, or like the week before, they had Candace Owens on the Breakfast Club, which I criticized the Breakfast Club for on social media. And so Charlamagne called me up in the middle of dinner, like, "What's up, Queen? Let me have it. What's the problem?" So I spent like 45 minutes telling Charlamagne why I thought that was bad. This is the next thing, yada yada yada. We have a difference of opinion on this. And so anyway, Charlamagne was like, "Oh, you should come on the Breakfast Club next week." And so I'm like, "All right, cool, great, like whatever." And then like maybe Tuesday, so the interview was on Thursday. So on Tuesday, Tuesday, I'm trying to confirm whether or not this is still happening. It's happening this week. And Charlamagne tells me, "Oh, we're trying to have you in with the mayor." I was like, "The mayor who? Eric Adams?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Let me explain something to you. There is absolutely no way on earth that Eric Adams or anybody in his administration allows that to happen. Like, there's no way." I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it if it's whatever. But ain't no fucking way. Ain't no way. I was sure. So I found out like late Tuesday, and the interview was Thursday morning. But I didn't find out I was doing the interview until before, like outside of the room. I thought they were like, "You're going to be in there with them." I thought I was going to be being interviewed or whatever with him. So I didn't know that I would be conducting it or anything. So it isn't some long, like, people like, "Whoa, you're so prepared." I'm like, he wasn't set up. No one was, I was just responding to him. Like, that's what happened.
And did the team not do any background check or anything? Did they not like do you once? Because like you're probably one of the most vocal critics of Eric.
I didn't see her worst mayor in the world video apparently.
I don't know what Mayor Adams knows as far as I think in the New York Times article piece today, Charlamagne said he didn't know, but Eric Adams wouldn't admit to not knowing. Like when at the pressers, they were like, because I think his ego is offended at the premise is like of the journalist being like, "Oh, surely you would have known better than to think you could do that if you knew." And so he was like, so they asked him,
That's true.
You know?
That's bad too.
Yeah, so he doesn't like that. So they asked him, "Did you know or did you get punked?" And he was like, "I didn't need to know who was gonna be there. I'll debate anybody. I ain't no punk." So that's been his position thus far.
He's not used to hearing actual pushback. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Like he was taking. I don't think they expected any pushback like that because they never get that, right? Like it took them off guard.
Oh, he's never got anything like. I mean, honestly, not even just Eric Adams. I don't know if I've ever seen any journalist with access like that at any given moment, whether it's regular access or a moment that Olay had where just everything came together for that one moment. Mm-hmm. I don't think I've ever seen any journalist with that access press a politician like that
ever.
I mean, that interview should go down in history. Honestly, every college that teaches even a single journalism class should be showing that video on how to conduct an interview with a politician.
agree.
I mean,
Yeah.
seriously,
It should come right after
if
Frost
I
Nixon.
didn't know
It should
any
be like
better, if I
Frost
wasn't sitting
Nixon
with
and
you
then
right now,
Olay.
and you weren't telling me this. Oh, I'm sorry. If you weren't telling me the story, I would have assumed that like they had him sit down, and then right before the camera started rolling and the show was ready to go, they opened the door, you walked out, and Mayor Adams goes, "Oh no, Olay, what a fucking nightmare!"
There was, I will say, there was some awareness. It was floated that there's a world where he sees me and leaves immediately. So the cameras were in fact already rolling.
Oh,
like he walked in the interview was like, there can be no pause. Like,
my favorite part was when you first started to press him, Charlamagne was like, "Listen, your time there. It's going to be a long interview," because he not only did not expect to be challenged, but for that long. And let me just say, for me, it was an emotional roller coaster in the sense that there was a moment where I actually started to feel bad for him because he was trembling. Like he was opening up his water. He was like shaking. I'm like, oh my God, like
eye contact
for somebody who has anxiety, like I
Charlamagne
feel
the
that.
whole time, just like. Help.
But then I was enraged when he turned his back and started talking just to Charlamagne and just this. That pissed me off. Then I'm like, okay, make him tremble more. Go for it. Go for the throw. Because it's just so disrespectful. Because he couldn't. Everything you were saying was 100% factual. So all he could do was say nuh-uh, and so he couldn't take it. So he just. Nope, she's not here. La 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 la. It was masterful and so devastating for him.
Listen, you love to see it. He actually started the interview with his back turned to me. He only turned his back to me when Charlamagne forced it, Mayor Olayemi, so he definitely knew. I don't believe he knew I was going to be conducting the interview. I don't know what he knows definitively, but that's what I think but he definitely knows who I am, because if you notice, he sees me in the room, he sits, the interview starts, he's turned away from me immediately. He's talking to Charlamagne and he starts trying to ingratiate himself with Charlamagne by being like, "Hey brother, we're both people that get hated on the internet by these people in social media that can paint an image of you and they don't know." It's all like shots at me. That whole first monologue is like, come on, brother, fuck them. You know what I mean? So he definitely knew I was. And that's why, eventually by the time he gets upset, it goes from Sister Queen and all of that to we have you far leftist, we have a philosophical difference.
Then you were Antifa. Then
I was like, away. It's very clear you've watched that. And I don't know why. I'm like, I don't know why you would sat down and watch 2 hours about your true self to upset yourself, but also
I looked at the comments, Olay. Literally every single one was positive, and my favorite one was he's still peeling it back after that interview.
Because that was how you buy time with it. Let's peel it back. Let's break it down. Let's piece it. I'm like, sir, you're trying to find time to think.
Every time you directly
there's
ask him anything that would push him on something, he's got to peel it back, and then he tries to change the topic while he's peeling it back, so he never directly answers what you're asking. The tactic is so clear, and then once you're catching on to him and you're keep pressing him, that's when he just tries to push out of the conversation. He really did not. He had no way to he's clearly, as I discussed earlier, never been pressed like this because he didn't know what to do. It's wild to see a politician in a situation like that where they know they're full of shit and they can't get away with it this time. To see him just try everything.
Smear tactic. Well, I was he's doing the politician thing where he's trying to reset and recalibrate the conversation because he doesn't have moral standing the way that obviously you were just decimating him with nonstop facts related to that. And then he started doing that whole oh well, I mean, do you not care about slaying officers? And you called him out in real time. You're like, this trick doesn't work. You're like, you have no power here. That was that's amazing.
That moment where you bring up, there's a bunch of moments, but off of this one, I was thinking that moment where you bring up, he's like, "Oh, I've been to Rikers. I've gone to Rikers more than any mayor." And you were like, "Yeah, the last time you were there was when 3 people were killed there, and because the corrections officers left their posts." And then you immediately went to Rikers afterwards to say you stand with the corrections officers. I was like, "Oh my god!"
He's going for it. He's trying
because he had no answer for that. He had no answer because he was all proud about how much he goes to, like that he goes to Rikers, and you said, yeah, but this is what you go to Rikers for.
Yeah,
and he was like, oh, shit.
And the way you delivered that line too is just so like that was so perfect. Like you said that, you're like, yeah, I know you go to Rikers. Like, like after you had laid out why he went there, it was so good. It was so sweet.
Yeah, the reason why it was so devastating was because like when politicians try to get out of these things, they'll be vague, right? Like, oh, I went to Rikers, so you just automatically assume that he went there for positive reasons because he was sympathetic towards the people, but you had such specific
positive
answers
reason for
and citations that he couldn't get out of it.
I really
sorry, I'm sorry, it's delayed for me. I don't know why I'm hearing you guys late. So if I'm interrupting, I'm sorry.
Go Binder.
Okay. I was gonna say a positive reason for Mayor Adams to be at Rikers though would be for him to be having an extended stay there himself.
Right. It is so funny. The irony of seeing somebody up there trying to push for a world where it's harder for people to who are accused of crimes or anything while being actively under multiple investigations his damn self, and then simultaneously trying to present himself like he's one hand trying to be the top cop in the interview, then also like I hang with my gang members, like I be with the criminals. Like, oh, okay,
what the fuck was that? That was
like,
so.
It was just like let him talk, like allow him to go on these monologues because they're so fucking telling. Because what are you saying? Like you're against, like you're actively trying to push for incarceration and over policing, even though in your own monologue you're saying that there's barely any crime, it's just to make people feel safer. Then you're saying, I've talked to all these people at Rikers and all of them have mental health issues or dyslexia or whatever. I'm like, so you understand the problem with using the criminal system for people having issues. I was like, just let this man talk. Like, this is excellent. Let him do his monologue. I'm going to go right back to what the fuck and tie in whatever it is you just said.
When he was starting out talking about how much safer the New York subway system was that the moment that you knew, like how can someone both boast about how safe it is and at the same time be putting so many cops or like National Guardsmen, even though I know he didn't personally put the National Guard there, he likes to use, the defensive. It wasn't me personally, but like, was that where you're like, that's the entry point? This is where we're going to start?
Honestly, it was just like, he was talking. Like I let him talk. I'm listening to him, and I think my first question was just, okay, you say that this is the case about New York City, but you also do this. How do you reconcile that? That was my question. Like he could have tried to reconcile that. Instead, he just immediately like
pushback. What?
I'm like, this is really not even the craziest question. Like, that's legitimate. I'm like, everybody in New York City knows you are the king of crime. The subways is Gotham. That's you.
Yeah, but can you quote him? Did you quote him though? You have to quote him.
Right.
Yeah. That's the pushback.
And that's him hoping.
Find some quotes.
Hoping to distract you. Like he's hoping to distract you on a side mission. Like, please, sir, spare me. But he did it. He did it all throughout the interview. Like all throughout the interview, he was simultaneously, it's the safest big city, but also these far leftists want to have people on your stoop, crime in the subway, blah blah blah.
Shoplifting, all that. Yeah, he like had a whole list.
Yes,
and then you were like, "This is exactly the rhetoric that I'm talking about."
And I think it's funny how many anecdotes he dropped, like how many stories without like never telling you any names, just conveniently. I was with a baby who was shot. I saw this homeless person saying they want to go on the spaceship. Just story after story with when that happened, Mayor. Who saw that? Where was it? Where are the names of these people? Nothing. Meanwhile, I'm telling him what the federal monitor is saying. He's like, la 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 la, fake make believe, fake news. Like he might as well have just said fake news.
Yeah, very Trumpian.
Yes, I like that it's been the Post and Fox and one Republican city council member defending him because it really says what he is. And
what is it? Woke anti-SJW advocate or something. I kept seeing all the different headlines. It's like, how are they going to spend? You know what really sucked about that is the one little crumb that he basically gives the right-wing press, which is that does she care about the death of police officers? That's what they used. Like I was like the exact thing.
I knew that was what he was doing. It was a dog whistle in real time. That was what he was doing when he said it in the interview. He goes, "I don't want to take you out of context," and then proceeds to he's creating. That's what it was. He's trying to distract it. The minute we got out of that interview, his people called up the Post. They called up the Post, didn't you see? And then the Post did that, and then immediately they start covering crime in the Bahamas. What the fuck? What does crime in the Bahamas? How the New York? Okay, we
interesting.
You think
I didn't even know that? Like,
wow,
like, what? That's amazing. Oh my god.
Yeah, so that didn't bother me none. Like, I see NYPD and the Post and those places trying to do that, but like, people say racist things about me on the internet all day, every day. That's one. And two, like, it just looks, I'm just like, you're just drawing more attention to this interview, and you're just making it look like you're making your boy's loss look that even worse, because it makes it very clear if you thought he won, you wouldn't be doing all this now, would you?
Yeah.
And it's like,
yeah.
And I'm not running for political office. It's only like if I were running like on the Democrat ticket or something, it's only them that have the struggle of like, oh, how do I simultaneously try to, stand with the left on recognizing the injustices of police while also I have to pretend like I love my law enforcement officers in blue. I'm not running for nobody's office. I've been said abolish the police. I don't know. I was like, I thought I told y'all where I stood. Okay. Like, I've never been a friend of NYPD. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, you're not hurting me none with that. Like, oh, woke lawyer. I'm like, it's funny because like an effect of racism is to try to make you feel like have a complex about the things that you've created to recognize like a racist structure. It's like being woke is something Black people came up with as a positive thing, speaking to consciousness and anything like that. You're not going to shame me by calling me a woke lawyer. Ooh, because in your mind you're using woke and DEI to be the N-word. And again, I know you feel
I was like, it's a slur.
I don't care.
Yeah,
it's a slur, but it's like I don't care. I don't define myself by what a bunch of white supremacists and cops say. Like,
yeah,
like so honestly, it's been great. It was beautiful. I literally, after it happened, I was like, even after it happened, I still was like, nah, ain't no way they're not putting this footage out. They're like, this is like, you don't understand. But all night before, I was, especially when people started trying to play me, like assume I was like, please, dear God, don't let them chop up this footage to try to make this man look good and have people on this timeline talking about me crazy. I'm like, I have a hard time imagining you about to get your ass whooped like this on the radio. Like, oh.
So, did like in the middle of it, did you start thinking that like he clearly was like struggling? Like, could you see that in real time? The fact that he was like starting to stammer and like he was like not looking at you anymore, and then you were like, this is the moment where like maybe Eric Adams finally like.
I knew off rip.
This is the moment where I end Eric Adams.
He was visibly flustered off rip. He was flustered from the beginning. But honestly, the funny thing is, it's not even like, you know what I do want to say? You know what I want to say? For all the people who, when I interviewed Marianne Williamson and y'all thought I was so mean to Shorty, and I told y'all, I swear to God, I was being nice. I said, I swear to God, I was being nice. Okay, thank you. All right.
I wish you weren't. I want to see more of that, Olay. I want to see every interview like that.
I want Olay to interview every single U.S. politician. Like anyone who's going to run for office, they have to have an Olay interview. Yeah.
The funny thing is, it wasn't even like, oh, I went in, I had to go in with like some game plan to like, oh, I'm gonna shred Eric Adams or anything like that. Literally, again, I found out outside the room. I was already there when they were like, oh, so you're gonna be doing the interview. I was like, that's crazy how no one said that to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But I responded. I was just listening, honestly. If I'm aware, that was just basic awareness of what his administration does and what his platform and his policies have been. And I just happened, this is my line of work. And I think it's funny, like Eric Adams is my arch enemy, like, but not, you know what I mean? Like the minute if Eric Adams was not mayor, I'll never say his name again. Like when Cuomo was in office, I was on Cuomo's head too. It's not about him as a person. Like he's my WWE rival. It's about the fact that he is the mayor with an incredible amount of power, doing a bunch of things to harm every marginalized group in the city while actively deceiving those groups, right? Because what I don't like the idea is when Eric Adams won mayor, he won, he had a strong majority of the Black vote. And then people will say, oh, Black people support this kind of over-policing or they support this kind of thing. Is no, they're being lied to. He's not getting up on Black platforms and telling them that he's bringing back stop and frisk, that he's reviving units that were disbanded for abusing us. He's actively, literally not telling people that people are dying at Rikers. His policy of his administration is to no longer report in custody deaths altogether. So it's like, I think it's important it's important to in that moment be able to somebody be able to be like, no, that's not true, because the reality is if you don't know or you're not aware, you have no choice but to accept it. Like if he had said those things to Charlamagne and DJ Envy, that's not their line of work. They're not going to know, oh, he actually, when he starts bragging about all the programs, they're not going to know he cut the program budget. They're not going to, when he's bragging about, Rikers and stuff like that, they're not going to know about the deaths that weren't reported to them. So to me, that was just about doing that, babe. And I'm like, I'm listening to him talk, and this is just dishonest. So it wasn't like I had some like, these are my key notes or something like that, or the worst Eric Adams points. I got a lot of terrible Eric Adams points. I know everything his administration is doing. It was like I was just bringing up what was directly contradictory to what he was saying right then. Like, whoa, the programs, you got the fucking money for the programs. What do you mean? Like, what are you saying? You're like, especially when he started talking about the migrants, and he goes, I think of all the things, of all the bullshit lies in the interview, the one where he brings up the Ukrainian migrants is the most of all the pandering, dishonest shit for him to be like, oh, you notice, my brothers, he gets on this black platform and it's like, you notice they're not talking about the Ukrainian migrants the way they're talking about the African and Latino migrants. It's you're the one not talking about the Ukrainian migrants and talking about the Latino and African migrants. Like that was you, like on 4K on video. Like I can pull up the video of the town hall, and then he proceeds, he's like, I did not name those countries. 2 seconds later, Venezuela, blah, blah, blah.
I was a little bit disappointed that DJ Envy was seemingly like receptive to right-wing talking points himself. You could tell based on like the questions that he was asking.
I think his dad's NYPD.
Oh, okay, that explains everything then.
Yeah.
There's a lot of migrant talk too. It's like, where is this coming from? Like, you guys are in New York. Like, what is this? Like all this migrant conversation.
Apparently, that's where
like,
they're all shipped off to in truckloads and in buses and stuff like that. And,
he be like, no. If you listen to him, if you listen to him talk, he is indistinguishable from a right wing. He is, in fact, he's quite literally going the far left. Like he's literally saying, oh, the far left, and they disagree with me. Da, 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 da. And I think it's so funny how there were people on Twitter, the people who assumed that was gonna be there cozying up with him, that they try to paint you like a latte liberal, like you in bed with the Democrats. Meanwhile, the Democrats are like this far left radical nut bitch. Like that's what Eric Adams is saying. That's who you think likes me. Oh, okay. And I love how he spends the whole interview calling me a far left nut job, only to be like, we disagree on 10%, like 90% we agree. Whoa.
I hate that line of argumentation so much. Yeah.
Whoa.
I hate that tactic.
Like I do not. And his platitudes, like what do you say? I'm a bald head, Aaron wearing, I'm elected.
Oh, right.
Like that man is so unserious. Like he is so incredibly unserious. Like,
oh, you have an earring. Wow. Welcome to 1995. What the fuck?
I was like, this is really like some old school, like you thought this like some like you really think you're cool, Modi, like you're the coolest man to ever do it. And I'm like, sir, surely you think cool has evolved beyond being an earring wearing cop.
Like, well, just the hubris. It's like he said something to the effect of like, when people look back, they're gonna say that mayor made a difference. Like he said something to that effect, and it's just so
it was
out
very
of touch and delusional.
Like self-aggrandizing, like building himself up as if people like are going to remember him as some amazing mayor. Like this is really bizarre for you to say this while you are mayor. Like
he's so Trumpian.
Very much.
He simultaneously is like, oh, he turned this city around, right? While then when you bring up the things wrong, it's like, oh, I've been mayor for 2 years and 3 months, which by the way is more than half your fucking term. Like, and he's like, oh, you can't, those things can't be on me. I'm like, sir, what is it that we're talking about?
What do you expect from me? I'm only 4 years into my term, all right? But like, this is. I mean, to his point. I mean, Bill de Blasio passed probably one of the best laws in recent memory when he literally created universal pre-K for New York City, and everybody still hates him. So the idea that anyone's going to look at any New York City mayor, fondly, look back fondly, is a joke.
Right.
Just from like history, because they mess up so often. Him
saying him saying the city has a history of over policing, like that we're beginning to turn around by having added thousands more cops that he claims we don't need, and bringing back stop and frisk. I'm like, they say you're literally conducting more stops and hiring more cops and doing more unconstitutional shit. We've really turning around this history of over policing in this city, but what do you say? Like, he literally just was trying to like comb through his Rolodex of things to say, even whether they were applicable or not.
Yeah, I will say that interview is going to come in handy when he inevitably tries to run for president. We're going to use so much of that interview.
I hadn't even thought about that potential. Would he really think of doing that?
We're not even saying need to, though. No New York City mayor, former New York City mayor, has ever successfully run for president. Giuliani tried it. Bloomberg tried it. De Blasio tried it. Failed. They didn't even get past the... Like... No, for sure it's a hard job. It's New York City, 8 million people. But they all leave fucking up. Because here's the real thing. Like, when it comes to like Giuliani, obviously he didn't try to do this. But like for de Blasio, the thing is that he came in on the whole idea that he was going to reform, like he was this progressive mayor, he was going to reform the NYPD and everything. And the second he got into office and even like tried to do like even a little thing, it became very clear that the mayor is not the boss of the NYPD, really.
Yeah.
They are in fear of the NYPD. NYPD runs this city. Is sad.
Yes.
Because the second de Blasio spoke out and said even the smallest criticism or spoke about the smallest possible reform, what did the NYPD start doing? They started going after his kids.
Right. Yeah. You saw they threw the governor out the funeral, the police officer's funeral over the weekend. They made the governor leave. Like NYPD.
I read that. Yeah, that was the uncle or the police uncle of the guy who like told the governor to leave or something. Yeah.
Yeah, like think about that. It really says a lot. And they asked the journalist press, Eric Adams on it in his presser about the fact that NYPD's there on their socials harassing journalists, harassing us, and he was like, "Oh, they're standing up for cops. So I'm not going to tell them no, that they can't do that." Like, it really, to me, I'm like, it's a good thing because most of the time you do this work and you try to explain to people which. You're just arguing until you're blue in the face that this is a police state, or what a police state is, or how much power NYPD has and how dangerous they are. And there really can be no greater example than look at you. You can see it. This is what they do to journalists and attorneys and people who go do their job. Like, it's not like I gave a rousing speech at a protest and they can argue and it turned into a riot or something. This is a nationally syndicated radio station that's invited on to conduct the interview. The mayor doesn't perform well, so now you're harassing journalists, you're harassing politicians. They even harassing the council members that said that they're wrong for harassing the journalists. Like, and the mayor's there like, yeah, this is good. I'm not going to say anything about that.
Is that why like so many politicians in New York have to kind of do this like progressive way they like position themselves? Because I noticed like a lot of the talking points that Eric Adams has, sometimes people are like, but you agree with that, don't you? I was like, well, I agree with the essence of what he's saying, but I don't know if I agree with his actual policies and the way he enacts them. But it does sound at times like he is talking about like you should care about mass incarceration, you should care about the disproportionate amount of Black and brown people in prison, and yet you don't see that play out in his actual policies. Do you have to do that? Is that just part of the being a politician in New York?
No, Eric Adams is exceptional. I think Eric Adams is incredibly exceptional. Like, listen, I've been a lawyer in this city, criticizing Cuomo, criticizing de Blasio, whoever is doing what. Nobody is like in the vicinity of what Eric Adams is. Like, this isn't just like the Democrats are committed to a certain level of policing, just like Republicans or whatever, and doing marginalized groups this way. And so there's a bare minimum of policing that they are deeply invested in. This is somebody who is serving the NYPD there. They're there to make sure the NYPD gets everything that they need out of this administration. He goes way, way, way beyond the call of duty. And what's funny? He's now reaping the consequences of that, because the problem is what you don't realize, what's so fucking stupid is he doesn't realize that all the energy you spent convincing New Yorkers that crime is out of control, like you're not the fucking mayor. So now he's here like, oh shit, they think it's my fault. Like, you know what I mean? Everybody's scared. Now you're trying to roll back the narrative that you spent 2 years and 3 months beating into people's minds. So it's his own rhetoric's issue to clean up.
Right. He's very dumb. Like, this was not well thought out. Like, this entire strategy of his was basically to like attack his critics who are to the left of him by saying that they're wrong on their attacks on the NYPD and stuff and on my policies because the city is dangerous. So my decisions and what the NYPD is doing is right. The city is dangerous. But then he didn't think that, well, if the city is dangerous and you're the mayor, then that's on you, my friend. Like the buck stops with you. He didn't think this through, and that's why he's caught in this back and forth that Olay called him out on, where out of one side of his mouth, he's talking about how safe the city is, and on the other side of his mouth, he's talking about how it's the most dangerous the city's ever been, because he didn't think this out, and now he's screwed himself and put himself in this position where he's got to play both sides. And let me tell you, both sides fuck him over, because if the city's so safe, then why does his policies not reflect that? And if the city's so dangerous, why the fuck isn't he doing anything about it?
Right. And you love to see it. We love to see it.
Yeah. Do you all think he's going to get reelected?
He
I know
might.
it's early, but
yeah, he might.
He might. He legitimately might. And I want to make sure I say that, because I don't want people to ever think that my criticism of Eric Adams will cease based, or that I believe that it means that he's not going to win or whatever, right? Because I think it depends, right? I think the landscape can shift. As it stands, I don't think anybody has joined the race early enough to start raising enough money to be able to beat him. You have to understand, he has all the unions. Think about the amount of money the police and all of them have to go into promoting who it is that they want. So that being said, different things can change along the course of someone's administration. People can come to know them differently. I don't think if he wins, it's not going to be better margins he won by last time. But I do think if there's a world where like Maya Wiley decides to come back in the race, I think she could win. I think she could win this time. Like I think that would change things. As it currently stands, based on what I know about who has the backing to challenge him right now, I think he could get reelected. But that's not because he's getting reelected, just because there's really nobody running, like no real serious competition running that has a financial backing. I think if Maya Wiley decides now, especially with the way public perception on him is changing,
in no small part.
I think that he could. I think Maya Wiley could win, because Maya Wiley could have won. I think if we had hindsight, I think we've learned our mistake. I think New Yorkers have I would like to believe the New York left has learned from our mistake, and we are not interested in splitting the vote a million ways. And I think we'll consolidate around Maya Wiley should she run again, and I think she could win. So I hope she does. I hope everybody starts harassing Maya Wiley to run again.
She needs to.
Yeah,
Maya, if you're watching this, somebody's gonna send you the clip
right now.
Run.
Yeah.
How do you like even start to tackle the problem with the NYPD being so deeply entrenched in politics, though? Even if someone else comes into power, aren't you still gonna would that be the best position, would you say, for like leftists to approach this or like try to tackle this?
I don't know what's the best thing that we can do. I think the best thing that we could do for the next like leftist candidate that we have running, like Maya Wiley, is to talk about the police after. I think about anything, because what will happen is sometimes, especially the vocal left, we'll muscle a candidate into saying the things we want them to say that they're going to do about policing, which will make them unelectable to everybody else. You know what I mean? I think we should get off Maya Wiley. Should Maya Wiley or whoever runs, I think we should get off their ass. Please do not force them to commit to telling us that they're going to defund the police this amount, or to say this, or to say particular things because you want them to say that just to appease your heart, and it's going to cost them to not be fucking elected. You know what I mean? So I think going in, I want to, especially now, I think I have a sizable enough platforms and influence to be able to do something meaningful for a candidate. I'm going to be more thoughtful about how I go about trying to sell somebody to New Yorkers, because we can't sell them around. We can't sell them by packaging them up in our leftist blanket. That's what they're gonna say is a radical blanket. No, God, now they need some. You know what I mean? That's what they're gonna take, and people are gonna go fairmonger and do all of this. So I think we just have to be a lot more strategic. That doesn't mean that we don't vet and make sure we choose them. We know what it is that they really think and what their philosophies are, and we can discuss that more in specific about the police after, on day one of that administration, let's not now, because people will come up with that nonsense. They'll be like, oh, my Wiley will agree to cut like $1 billion of an $11 billion budget, but we'll be there screaming that they're defunding the police, and now they're like, he can't have her.
That's so smart though. Like I find like I'm guilty of this all the time. Sometimes you just want to hear the politicians say the thing, right? Like I want to hear you say the words now. And then like you're totally right though. Like if it's going to make them completely unelectable, then it just appeases you. It just gives me the feeling. It's like, oh, they said they agree with me. They said the thing I wanted to hear out loud.
Yeah.
At the same time,
we gotta do that more collectively.
It can also be hard to then like I completely agree with that strategy. At the same time, do you get the left? Like this is why I think you need people around you as someone running as a candidate, people around you that others trust who are on the left that they can vouch for you. Because if you can't say the thing that people want you to say, you need people around that candidate to say those things.
And I agree with that. And I think that is important. And that's what I hope that going into it this time, like the people in New York City that like the me's or whatever our platforms are a lot more, make more of an active effort on our own to learn what these candidates are about and then package them in a way that is helpful to them winning. Because sometimes I'm like, we don't need another leftist movement icon. We need one with some actual political power. Like let's get somebody in there. So let's sell them as that after, but like let's know and let's talk about. You can talk about their policies and what is them trying to do the things that we want without saying that. And I want to be clear in the comments because I see someone saying something. This is not me taking it against saying defund the police rule. I will never take that position. I'm never against saying defund the police. I will never take up that talking point. And people are like, you shouldn't say it because it doesn't work. I don't believe that. It obviously works in whatever in general, but right now we're trying to get the stop cop the fuck up out of here. If we're gonna do something, so I think we should talk about what it is they're doing, like putting those resources there. And this is the next thing. I think we should just shy away from branding them as our leftist champion because that will allow them to take it. And you all heard the dog whistles, even in that Eric Adams interview. The way being far left, they can in and of itself use that or being woke as a thing to work against you. So that's all. I'm trying to be very sensible this time. I'm really praying for my Wiley to let me apologize for my sins, like because I loved me some Diane Morales, but if I could go back in time, I would have been talking my Wiley from day one if I had realized what would happen. But I didn't always know Eric Adams would be a problem. I did always know that.
Well, let me ask you this, Olay. This is going to be a tough question.
You know what screwed us over the last election? We were all focused on Andrew Yang.
That's what I was gonna say.
Adams was basically untouched.
I totally forgot about that.
And then there was what's his face? There was someone who I know I forgot his name. Some progressives were starting to rally around him, and then there were allegations against him, and so he lost his. He was like high up on the chart, and then. Scott Stringer, yes, thank you. He had allegations against him, and he was like the progressive favorite early on. And then those allegations killed him. He was done, and progressives didn't know who to rally around yet because no one had broken out, and everyone was just focused on stopping Andrew Yang. And that's how Adams snuck through.
Yeah. No, I said this in my big Eric Adams video, but Andrew Yang got so much fucking media attention, so much media coverage for a man who only got like 12% of the vote, like so much media coverage. And I think that's a problem in general that we do in politics in general. It's like as in commentating, people focus on who they think drives engagement or whatever is funnier, or they think whatever is a character rather than like what kind of matters the most. Like when you think about it, Eric Adams is not somebody who gets a lot of the other commentators are covering, but why not? This is a city of 10 million people. He's the fucking mayor doing nut shit every day. Like, why aren't we covering those people? I just don't understand it. So I think we need to have more focused coverage like that. When you think about it, if you think about what one woman's hate can do for the perception of one politician, you know what I mean? Like, imagine if we structured more like that, you know what I mean? Like went after more of these politicians that are doing these things that maybe don't get the same kind of national coverage. They're not like the Marjorie Taylor Greens and get that kind of attention, but you'd be surprised how many people are impacted by what they do and would find it interesting if we commit that kind of energy to it, you know? So that's why my Greg Abbott expose, by the way, is what's next. My Greg Abbott expose should be coming out on like the 14th.
That's gonna be nice.
Yes, I honestly, I said to my boyfriend because NYPD is harassing us. I was like, oh, should we move to like Jersey or somewhere else? And I was like, you know, it's crazy. It's not really a point moving because I'm just going to end up talking about the police department there. Like, you know what I mean? Like if I go there and the mayor there.
Different city.
And I was like, by the time I put out my Greg Abbott expose, I have like I put out, you know, I had my op-ed in Essence about like the DC crime bill and the stuff in Atlanta. And I was like, I'm not going to have nowhere I can live by the end of the year. Like there's everybody's police department is going to be tight with me.
Have you had any?
You feel good at least at how much people push back against that, like how much they got ratioed and how many people were just destroying them online? Like, was that?
No, it is beautiful. Honestly, it has been all good to me. I have not like. The negativity is so much in the minority, like it's there, or whatever, the police and all these different things. But honestly, I've been harassed by the police before. It's not the first time not on this. I will say not on this level. This is one of the few times like my mommy was very, very, very scared, very concerned, and I'm like, me too a little bit. Like on the weekend, I was like, okay, let me stay in the house. Like my boyfriend's like, oh, you gonna go to this thing? And I'm like, no, actually. I was like, in fact, lock the door and close the fucking curtains. I was like, baby, you do not see NYPD. My boyfriend can do that. I think this has been, first of all, the most radicalizing experience for my Nancy Pelosi Democrat ass mother, right? You know, my mommy be there like, oh, I mean, I don't dislike the police like you and blah, blah, blah. Now she's like, Jesus Christ, Olayemi, this is from the NYPD's official page. Oh my God, this is no Olayemi, they can't be doing this. This is crazy. No, this is wrong.
I love the message that your mom sent. I forgot what it was about, but you played it on your first episode of Lolo and Olay. And your mom was so fucking funny.
Like, she was like, my Essence op-ed came out. She was like, Jesus Christ, now this bitch about to be on Fannie Willis ass.
That's what it was.
She's like, wait, Olayemi, wait till the damn election is over to do this shit. Yeah, no, my mommy did not want me to do the interview. When I called her and told her, she was like, oh no, absolutely not. This is a setup, Olayemi. I don't know. It's a setup. It's a setup. I was like, Mommy, what is that even? What do you mean it's a setup? Mommy, how could he? Olayemi, all I know is it's a setup. Listen to your mother. Don't do it. So I had anxiety for the full 24 hours leading into the interview. My mother was over there prophetizing the worst.
Moms always do that shit. Although your mom does, like, I feel like she does have like a reason to worry just given the circumstances there. Yeah, but like, God, moms can inflict so much anxiety in us.
Oh, they've never legitimized my mother's panicking more in this life than letting her see them NYPD tweets. And you know what's the worst part too?
Yeah.
First of all, my mother did not watch. My mommy watched David's coverage of the interview. I sent my mother the interview.
And she missed the rational natural. I didn't even get to cover those parts.
I sent it to her at like 8:30 in the morning, like, and like 8:30 at night. I'm like, Mommy, have you watched it yet? Oh, I mean, when I get home, just give me a minute. Then she gets home, sends me a screenshot of the TV, like, you see where I went to click on the interview, but you see Rational National has a thing, so I have to sit down and watch this first. I was like, you really are my op. Like, you're my op. So then she watched that. My mommy's algorithm.
David to break it down for her first, right? I mean,
yes.
I mean, you said she's a Nancy Pelosi Democrat, and
that's my biggest audience here. Right?
Yeah, David is the most right-wing member of our group here. So
First of all, she watched David's coverage and then looked to see if the Humanists had put out anything. I said, like, you're pissing me off, miss. Like, you are pissing me off. Please go watch this damn interview. So she's seen it. My mommy's algorithm is set to her child, so she saw. I didn't tell her about the NYPD's tweets because obviously not. She is terrified and screaming at the mamas. She's seen it because she watched I think it was Indisputable's coverage. And she watched them cover it and they talked about the tweets. Mama's like, let me wait, oh Lord, you know I don't even know how to use these apps like this. I had to go look. No, not the official account. Oh, Jesus Christ, not my child. Oh Lord, my child in that country by herself. Oh Lord, allow me, please. Get a camera for the house. Like,
oh no.
Oh my God.
My mother having an anxiety attack.
Oh my God. Have you been contacted by any like networks or like don't tell us, but like, has anyone contacted you since that interview to be like, come on our show and like talk to this you know, this this politician or something.
Oh, like
After watching that interview, after watching that interview, I'm like, any smart, like, not that you should take the job or would take the job, but any smart network would be like, we need her. Like, this is exactly what
Mehdi
people want to see.
Zateo.
Yeah,
I mean,
like that's a great example too. Yeah,
think so, but you would think so. But honestly, I'm at this point, I'm accustomed to this. Like, I feel like every year or like every year or so, I have a moment like this where everybody is like, "Oh my God, look how talented she is," and then everybody goes back to forgetting like that, like pretending that never happened. You know what I mean? Like, I swear, you know what I mean? It never comes with the opportunities you expect that it might. And so for me, you know, I'm more invested in building my own thing. Like I've been more invested in building Olurinati and for good reason, like because I can do the things it is that I want to do, and I can design my show and in my image and what I think makes sense, and platform who I want and speak to the views and issues. Like, honestly, I'm a person with anxiety, and as y'all see, a damn heart monitor I really don't enjoy arguing with people. Like, I don't enjoy debating with people like this. I think are fundamentally morally bankrupt. You know what I mean? Like that. Yeah. That isn't. I know that's something I do well on. Like, anytime I do that it always comes with viral moments for me, being on Rising and this and the next thing. And I know that people enjoy that, and that always comes with a lot of engagement. But I've never been engagement driven. You know, it's about what I think is like right and messaging. Like, I wouldn't argue with Eric Adams if he were just a creator. You know what I mean? Like a content creator. So I'm like, he's just the mayor. He's the mayor. So like that matters. Like, I'm like, oh, that's different. That's
he's the ultimate different content creator.
Yeah. So for me, I'm just like, it's beautiful to be able to, what the position I actually want to be in is where through my own platforms, I'm able to garner the same level of engagement, or people hear what I say regularly so they can learn why I believe what I believe and hopefully shift social consciousness. But as far as like wanting to be on these networks, these networks don't appreciate you. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason to like to want to be there or to like covet those opportunities. To me, like, I always look at it as like, I'm gonna make the best of every opportunity I get. I look at everyone as an opportunity, like do my best, perform whatever, and go and use that as an opportunity to keep building my stuff, because the networks don't value you. It doesn't matter, you know, what you do for them. They'll use you for when it's convenient. They'll whatever have you, and they
also don't want people questioning power. Like, at
the
end of the day, like that's ultimately what was taking place there, right? Like that's why that was so historic to witness, and because you just don't often get to see that. You don't get to see someone who's that educated, especially on those topics, just directly question the politician who's been lying, like face to face.
And that's precisely why it won't happen, right? Because like, not for nothing, you know, everyone's like, oh, Olayemi should interview every politician out. I'm like, and that's precisely why you probably never see me interview none of them again. Like, they, you know, they don't enjoy it. Like, they don't enjoy that experience. Even the most mildest of how you decide to do things comes with like just such a wild level of criticism and critique and stress. I'd be like, Lord, we'll have time for this. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I could do the things. And I do think this. I think that it's a great demonstration of how valuable all the content that we all create and what we do actually is. Because when you see so many people be like, oh, I can't believe like all the news outlets because my Eric Adams doc and stuff. I don't think I appreciated how many people have seen that. I'm not sure, because you can't see the numbers. Like, I'm like, a lot of people have watched that, and clearly everybody in New York City politics and journalism have seen that, and it makes it feel like, okay, it's worthwhile that we spend this time educating people on things and creating these bodies of work and seeing how that can change how politicians are able to deceive the public, and how you can combine your advocacy and your principles with what you're doing. So that was nice. I think it was nice to realize, like, oh, like there are people all across the world who know I can't stand this man because of like, like it's so funny to see that, like, everybody like, what, like there were Bahamians who were like, I know you hate Eric Adams. I never even been to New York, but what's going on there? And I think that's funny because they've seen the doc, and that's nice. I'm like, oh, I wrote that all on my own in my house. Look how many people watch that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I see everybody having passionate conversations. And hey, everybody in the chat, I forgot to say hi to everybody.
They were all gushing and excited when you jumped on, or I put it in the title on mine, so they already knew. So they're very excited.
We have more viewers than normal, that's for sure. So
yeah,
we love to see it.
You're clickbait for us, Olay. I have you in the thumbnail too.
and I support you in that. I fully support you. I saw all y'all's coverage. I loved David's video, by the way, David. I loved that.
Thank you.
That was so good. I was like, oh look. I was like, how the fuck did he pull up these receipts so quickly? And it's not even. I was like, meanwhile, I need a full more extra day to do this. I was like, how did he do that?
I just searched it. I'm like, oh, there it is.
No, and I appreciated how many people did that because I'm like, it's easily verified. Like you can't. I'm like, what are you saying? Like everything I'm saying to you is exactly what it is. Like, sir.
And I felt almost bad because there's so much of it that I couldn't, like. There's too much to cover. I'm like, I'm just watch the full thing because there's too much there. Your comments about the FBI investigation into him, I didn't even any other situation, that would be its own video. Like you nailing him on that, and like I didn't even include it in my video because there's just too much. I couldn't bring it all in.
Where if he could jump me, he would have.
Oh, that really hit him. Yeah,
it was just out my mouth too fast. Like I was
there were so many times that I like genuinely soy faced throughout that fucking interview. It was just so funny. It was pleasant. I loved it. You crushed it.
I loved it too. I'm like my mommy and them, all my friends are like, look at you, you came and gave people your best Olivia Pope. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, he'd have been in there. Look at him. I knew it too. Look at him, like trying to paint me like a leftist radical, blah blah. If I'd had a leather jacket, it'd have been over. Like he'd have been in there. Like you see this.
If he knew you were once on a show, a regular on a show called Leftist Mafia, it would have been.
My god. That was his first point he brought up.
It's so
that's
funny.
That's why I think it's
this
also important to
Olay
like
of the leftist mafia. We gotta get the NYPD in here to crack down on the gangs, the leftist gangs roaming New York. Yeah,
that's why I think it's important as well. Like the title of my video, it positions him as a conservative mayor. Because a lot of people have this idea, oh, he's a Democrat, whatever. Like, no, this is a conservative man. Like, people need to understand this guy is conservative. So,
he was a Republican.
I think it's important to properly frame that.
Yeah, he was a Republican.
He was a Republican, exactly.
And he was a cop.
Yeah,
I mean, that's also part of the reason. I mean, I showed that video from like 2011, I think, of him in the kid's bedroom and fighting like the drugs and the gun because it paints him as like the clown that he is. Like, I think it was important to include that because it gives you the important context to understand who Eric Adams is. He's this
something as simple as a crack pipe. Like
it's so good. It's
that video
so
kills me every time.
No, I love it. I'm like, listen, that was beautiful. When I saw it, when you played it, I've heard of the video before, but I've never seen it until then. And I was like, this video literally looks like it could be in The Office. Like this looks like it was.
It was edited by the person that posted it, obviously, but it's done so perfectly. Like the way he cuts as he pulls the gun out, and just the way like it's not edited heavily, but just like the quick cuts. It's so funny.
It's so good. I was like, oh wow, I played myself by not having this in my Eric Adams doc.
There needs to be like a parody of it where somebody just makes it more extreme, like, and you could find like a dildo in your kid's drawer, like just much more outrageous. Although you can't really parody it because it's already so ridiculous.
Exactly, it's hard to do satire and things like on someone like that. It's already so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you feel, and I'm kind of curious about this, that more people are like in general outside of your circles, what some people call normies, but just like maybe not as left wing or progressive or politically active people, are they starting to recognize a lot of this for what it is? Because I still see right wing media pushing all these fear mongering stories about New York, about how there's like, these migrants who are attacking people and they're attacking police and then all this kind of stuff. Like that narrative is consistently being pushed, and it makes it almost seem as if New York is in utter chaos, like you said, Gotham before, but like that's just not the reality on the ground. Is it something that people in New York feel? Or...
I think a lot of New York. Hold on. There's a good video I gotta show you. Hold on. It's very unserious, but also very serious, very spot on. Hold on, I gotta show you all this. Because this is it. My boyfriend said this. Like this is how real New Yorkers feel. Hold on. Okay.
A little bit too pussy right now. New York City, I'm not gonna lie, we look a little bit too pussy right now. And I know I've been gone for a minute, but I come back, everyone talking about, the train puncher. New York City citizens are scared to sink the train. Who? Because not I. Listen, the transplants, people that's not from New York are scared to take the train. Real New Yorkers, we know what it is because we was there. Halloween, they let everybody out of school early, talk about just go straight home, don't stay outside. The gangs are doing initiations. What we was doing, still trick-or-treating, get into the candy. You was scared to get a punch in the face. And that's another thing. Y'all gassing that up a little bit too much for me. Because now he's at home thinking, yeah, I got it like that. I'm punching people in the face. They scared of me. I'm terrorizing the city. I'm like the Joker. No, bro. You're not putting fear in nobody's hearts. Let it have been a real New York girl. Let it have been a girl from the Bronx or Brooklyn. Oh, y'all would have seen Mike Tyson perform that night. You ain't seen Tombo's no Chick-fil-A. Like, he's pussy.
That's my official position.
No, it's absolutely true.
Well
listen, I've been here 38 years. I'll be 38 in August. I was born and raised. I'm an old man. Yeah.
Wait, did I know that? We knew this?
It's not a surprise to anybody else. Maybe just you. Yeah.
I thought you were like 1 or 2 years younger.
Mafia.
No, I was born in '86.
God damn.
Yeah, I'm an old man. You should see my kids' reaction. Born in 2015 and 2019, their reaction when they hear I was born in 1986, they're like, "Whoa, back in the 1900s," they say. Yeah, that's me, old man, 1900s bender. But I mean, here my whole life, never left, probably never gonna leave. It's not dangerous. It's never been safer. It honestly, every single day is safer than the last day. This city is, I've never been worried about going on the bus, the subway. Hell, I walk down the street looking at my phone half the time and no one messes with me. No one does anything. My kids, when I'm working and if they're home and their mom takes them out on the subway to go to the museums, to go to the park, to go wherever they go, not scared for them. She's not scared. Honestly, I'm not a big traveler, but I've obviously been to other cities around the country. New York, I've never felt safer anywhere but
Literally.
New York City.
I walk the streets at any time of night. Me and my boyfriend walk to the bodega 3-4 in the morning. Like it don't matter. The only singular time I have felt worried about my safety in New York City was when NYPD started harassing me this weekend. That's the only time I've ever been like, oh fuck. You know what I mean? It might not be safe for me in this city anymore. That's the only time ever I was like, oh, NYPD sending my picture out to all the precincts. I don't like that. I don't feel good about that.
That's wild.
Yeah. The only time I am sort of like in the city when I'm walking down the street is not when like a regular like civilian passes by. It's when like a cop car comes by. I'm like, oh. That's when I'm like, oh no, what's gonna happen? If I'm driving, if I'm in outer boroughs, Queens, I got a car. When I'm driving, see a cop, oh shoot, I'm not even doing anything illegal. I'm completely fine. I know they'll do whatever they want to do, and I'm a white guy, so like I could only imagine how others feel when they see a cop in their vicinity.
Yeah, that ass.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. I was gonna ask you. So, what have you been up to lately? You're still crushing it. Olurin episodes all the time. What have you been up to though?
Putting out Olay and Friends now every Sunday at 1:00. So that's official. Doing that. What else? I told you I'm battling health stuff. But putting out my Greg Abbott expose, Olay and Friends. I put out an op-ed for Essence. I doing interviews, media stuff. Writing. I have a bunch of different content produced. So I'm getting ready to put out an interview with like Imani Barbarin, the disability rights activist. Y'all know her from social media. Y'all got to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm gonna put that out with Imani, and that's really great. I interviewed Hannah and Michael recently about like Cop City for one of my Illuminati productions I'm working on. So honestly, just content creation, chilling out with my boyfriend and my cat, trying not to let this autoimmune disorder take me out the game. That's been stressful. I can't eat nothing no more. I can't eat gluten. I can't eat sugar. I can't eat dairy. I can't eat grains. I can't eat eggs. It all whoops my ass.
Those are all the best things.
What do you eat?
What's
left?
That's like the mayor of New York.
That's the standard for a week so far.
That ass. Like it really. So honestly, just working. I can't think of anything else I'm doing. I'm going in a couple of weeks. I'm going to LA. I'm going to be on Hassan's stream.
Oh hell
yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah, so I'm doing that. I have a bunch of different things like that going on, like different stuff and projects and appearances and things in the works that people are going to see. Sorry, I have to log on this little gadget they gave me for the heart monitor to log when my heart acts a fool.
Next up, Olay will be interviewing Kathy Hochul, and then eventually Joe Biden.
You know who
they all know to stay away now.
I want to see you interview like an Israeli official. Like that would be
oh my God.
very.
Y'all want to see the end of me. Look at NYPD doing me now over Erica. Y'all are really trying to get me out of here. Like listen, I've never been more aware of, like, normally, I don't have the same like fear levels as people, and I don't take like, I get death threats and things like that, but I don't take those. I don't pretend like I'm in my house crying about them or worried or any of that stuff. I always feel a certain level like I'm privileged. I get to pontificate on social media and do all these different things. I'm not who they're going after. I'm not anybody's revolutionary that they're going to harm. But increasingly, the threats have escalated and where they're coming from has escalated. So and you combine that with the fact that I got this autoimmune disorder in October that's been fucking me, has like drastically changed my life, and I have this heart thing I'm trying to figure out. So I say all that to say I'm a lot more aware of my own mortality these days, and I'm a lot more aware of dangerous things. So I'm like, oh yeah, they'd get me the fuck up out of here. Like I said, everybody is funny. People keep being like, you need to go into politics, which is never gonna happen. I want y'all to know now, it's never gonna happen. You're never gonna see it. It's never gonna happen. Never, ever, ever. I don't want to be nobody's politician. You see how people stress you out when you're just a social media content creator? They act like you have a culture not operating properly, like the cult is trying to revolt 24/7. So no. I'll pass on that. But even in them saying that, I'm like, how quickly they'd get me the fuck up out of here. I did one interview and NYPD is like, this bitch is public enemy number one. They'll just slandering the Bahamas tourism industry at this point off of it. Like,
would you take a job as a advisor for someone who was running?
No,
you wouldn't even do that. I was gonna say, we were talking before about getting like,
I was like, is this
letting I was gonna say, we were talking before about letting a politician run and let them be strategic in terms of, appealing to a mainstream audience and not sort of weigh them down with like, hitting every progressive ideal publicly, at least like on the campaign trail. And I was
what I consult with, if a politician reached out to me because they're interested in my perspectives and to talk to me about things, like I did meet, like I do work like that. I just don't go to Twitter and whatever. Like when I criticized the DC crime bill, like the councilwoman and people reached out to me and I spoke with their office and told them exactly why this is bad and what provisions to do this and what they should do and yada yada yada. I'll tell you why I have this problem, what I think you should do, and based on my expertise, but it doesn't benefit anybody for me to like do it for them in an official capacity, because what would happen is if a leftist politician that we actually liked, or someone progressive enough to care about our perspective, so much so that they would allow me to be on their payroll, then everything that about that I'm allowed to be as somebody who's on the left and as a commentator and blah, blah, and an activist and all of these different things, that they're not allowed to be as a politician to be successful would be imputed to them and destroy their electability on that end. And then the flip side would work. For every way that a politician has to do or say things or, you know, be about everybody in order to be electable is something that harms the credibility of us with the audiences that we have. So if I was attached to a politician in that way, that would then ruin my credibility and also make me ineffective. So either way, it would cancel each other out. So I would help like in the sense of they reach out to me when politicians reach out to me and want to hear my perspective on why this and the next thing. I explain it. I talk to them. I do meetings. I do things like that. But I wouldn't work for them. It would ruin it for both of us.
Have you seen they're doing so? There's this super PAC called Moderate PAC. It's mostly it's bankrolled by Jeffrey Yass. He's a Republican billionaire donor, and they're
Jeffrey
running
Epstein.
They're running ads against Summer Lee in Pennsylvania, and everything about it is like, oh, she said defund the police. Here's a video of her saying this. Here's a video of her saying she's an abolitionist, and like that's what they're going. Like she's an incumbent now, right? So like these were attacks before she got elected, and they're still using like the same attacks. It's just how do you like? I don't even know where to begin because like a lot of this is cynical, right? Like when you try to like explain defund the police, they already know what that means, and a lot of people just pretend as if, oh, that means you want to get rid of the police or whatever. Like how do you even begin to like respond to that? Because it's just nonstop.
I think you don't let what they're attempting to do. I think you don't allow them to frame these things as they're a bad thing, right? Because it's not like what they're saying. They're not even adding anything to it. They're just taking what we said, what we put forward as our positions, whether it be woke, whether it be defund the police, and they're just saying it like in a negative tone. You know what I mean? They're saying it with a negative implication, and we are clamoring like, no, I have to distance myself from this thing. It doesn't have any power if you don't allow it. You know what I mean? Like they're calling me a woke lawyer. Like I didn't freak out about that. I didn't add any hysteria to that. Like, oh my God, I'm
nothing.
not. When Eric Adams called me a far leftist, I didn't go, I'm not a far leftist, blah, blah, blah. I didn't allow you to paint it as ridiculous because you're trying to say it's ridiculous or you're trying to present it in this way that it's this wrong thing. But if I just continue to hold my square and articulate my position and you can't yours, everything will be said about what it is anyhow. So it's just like you don't play into that. You don't allow them to have the power over framing whether or not it's a bad thing. And if you respond, if you feel the need to like defend it, like, no, I'm not this thing because they say it's bad, you're allowing them to determine what things are and what the default is. So you just ignore them. I didn't let them. Okay, woke lawyer. Ooh,
yeah. For the most part, like it seems like Summer Lee's just letting it roll off her shoulders. And like even Jamal Bowman, like he's saying, you know, fuck AIPAC because they're going after him and whatnot too, and they're trying to use these same attacks to fund the police, extremists, and whatnot. I think that's good advice because I feel like there was a period in the United States where for the first time, like some white people started to realize, like during the George Floyd protests, at least like with the suburbanites that I know from Portland, like, oh wow, it really is different the way that black people interact with the police. And then within like 6 months, that was all out the windows. Like, oh, crime's out of control. So I feel like there's no, like, you can't teach someone, or maybe you could temporarily inform them, but that goes away. Within 6 months, it gets deleted out of their brains. So it feels like
so much easier to fearmonger, right? It's so much easier to be like that person who's randomly punching people in New York. They're going to come for you or your kids or your mom. Did you think about it? Do you not want them to, be on the street? That kind of shit.
Yeah, I mean, we had in Portland, there was these suburban moms. They were locking arms to protect like Black Lives Matter protesters. And it was like, oh my God, things are starting to change. But then a year later, it's like things are so bad in terms of like rhetoric. Our governor in Oregon just recriminalized drugs. It's like you can't make progress. Like it's a fucking Sisyphean task.
It's a bad thing to say defund the police, right? That was the end result.
I maintain that we could do a lot more when we just focus on, instead of responding, talking about what needs to be talked about, right? Like when you think about it, or even like the Eric Adams stuff, Eric Adams was never like a hot topic of discussion. Like that was, or Rikers even were not the things. That's not what the media is like. That's not the engagement heavy, whatever. But if you focus on presenting people the things, you know what I mean? And covering those things in the same way, people will consume that, and that will be effective. So I think instead of responding to what they are feeding us. They intentionally, the right feeds us what they want us to spend our time running around. Like they literally want us to be responding to woke and CEI and blah, 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 blah. And all while that's happening, no one's bothering to make the documentary they need to make on politicians who've been wreaking havoc like Greg Abbott for 30 years. Like, why isn't there one already? You know what I mean? Like, so I just think we need to focus less on them and more so on putting out the narratives that we want, right? Instead of waiting to respond to how they framed it, let's just talk about what it is that we are seeing, the politicians that we see as a problem, the policies and the things, and focus on educating people on that. Because to me, if you focus on educating people on those things day in, day out, by the time you have a moment like this, like with the Eric Adams interview, people were primed for it. You know what I mean? Like the people who are my audience, for all these people who've seen all the things you put out or put out into the zeitgeist about them, they're ready to receive that. They understand more. They understand why you're saying the things you're saying about Rikers or what you're bringing up about the subway, because I've been allowing them to see this is what the conversation has been around crime. This is what they're doing about policy and stuff like that in New York on the regular. So I think we just need to focus on talking about the things we're talking about, regardless of what they're doing, because at the end of the day, the mainstream media and everybody else will catch up. They'll start talking about what we make viral or what we make trend or what we're talking about. Like there are lots of times, like recently I've started like on my social medias, I put out like daily videos on TikTok and Instagram and all those every day and on Twitter, and those will go viral and people will and I don't make those videos with any respect to what the discourse is. Like, it doesn't matter what everybody's talking about on Twitter, what everybody's talking about on YouTube, whatever have you. I make those videos just totally based on what I felt like, this is what I want to advocate around. This is what I want to talk about. And then, you know what? People talk about that. So that's what I think that we should do. I think we should focus on trying to start our own conversations.
And like on that point, like people on the left have been talking about Israel forever. And it's been wild in the past several months to see the media and like people generally just catch up on that and now realize what's been going on there, to the point where this week, like a couple of Republicans on Morning Joe, or at least Bush Republicans, are saying that Biden's too far to the right. Like he needs to put conditions on aid to Israel, on weapons to Israel. Like to see the rest of the media and even former Republicans catch up on that it's wild. But this is the stuff that we've been talking about, forever. So yeah, to your point, I think it's important that we put out our own message and highlight that to ensure that there is a counter narrative that people can latch onto, and eventually at some point hopefully realize that we are right and the positions that we advocate for are the humane positions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that I don't know if you saw, there was a tweet from, it was one of the Pod Save America guys, and he was responding to Chris Coons saying that they should condition aid to Israel, and like the way he framed it was like kind of like this passive aggressive backhanded ass attack on the left. Like he said something to the effect of, this is Chris Coons, this isn't some far left radicals saying it, this is a moderate Democrat. Oh, yeah, perfect. Yeah,
I got it for you.
Perfect. Yeah, this pissed me off.
Richard Haas and Senator Chris Coons now support conditioning aid to Israel. These are not moderate centrist establishment figures, not lefty radicals who are finally recognizing that the war in Gaza is a moral and strategic disaster. Whereas those radicals have been correct the whole time.
It's an insult, but he's saying you're right.
I get what he's trying to say, but there's also the other half of this where it's like these lefty radicals have been correct the entire time. Like that's
and honestly, just fuck them. At this point, like, that's what I think. Honestly, just let them have their snarky little stuff to themselves. Like I rarely see the right going out of their way to try to like be like, no, we're not the right, we're not the far right or whatever. Like they don't care how much we mockingly condescend and we call them idiots in every way that we can, and they just keep it pushing. You know what I mean? Like they're like, hey, whatever, I'm gonna say my idiot shit louder. So for me, I'm like, just let them go on. And like at the end of the day, people don't change their opinion in one sitting. Like they don't. Yeah. People often don't even realize the point in time in which they came to start feeling differently than they felt. We just have to continue on and keep doing it in the face of how people scold us and talk down to us and mock us essentially, and just do it, because eventually as people learn more, as people experience more, as people become more radicalized and they see how things work, like I said, like even just seeing my mommy and my boyfriend's on the phone with everybody in his family, like, no, this is the NYPD's page, look at it. Like couldn't believe it, just everybody, and so it's like people eventually they catch up. Everybody doesn't have their radicalizing moments at the same time, so let them think that being a centrist is the mark of objectivity and intelligence and whatever the fuck they tell themselves, you know, and they'll get there eventually.
And the next day, the NYPD put out that tweet where it was like the picture of the funeral, and it was like, "Don't mess with us" or something like that. I was like, "That was a
like congressman who said that.
Yes.
Oh, congressman, sorry,
Yeah.
congressman put that out. Yeah, and I was like, "That sounds like a threat, though. That's just a scary thing to show." You know?
Yes, absolutely. And you know what? Listen, for me personally, I'm just like, I'm never have been given a better opportunity to just be like, y'all see what I be saying? Y'all see what I be saying? Like, this is what I be saying. Like my mommy, I literally, you know what's so funny? I'm in such a space of I told you so with my mommy that, like, I swear to you, when I'm not on the phone, my mommy, I'm in the house legitimately just as concerned and anxious about the police harassing me as my mother is, like, to my boyfriend, like, please lock the fucking door, baby. Aren't you paying attention? Like, meanwhile, with the minute my mommy gets on the phone and starts talking about it, I'm like, yeah, that's your precious police. Almost like I told you. Like, she was on the phone, like, she said, oh my God, Olayemi, you need to really be careful because you know those police, they'll do anything. I'm like, I do know. Shocked to see that you know. I can't even take care and concern because I'm too busy shoving her face in it. Like, I told you. My sister, I went on my baby sister. I called my sister like after the interview because I sent it to her for to watch it. She was like, yes, I seen the viral clips on TikTok, like from other people, right? I was like, yeah, but like, Femi, watch the interview for real. And so when I call Femi, she's with her husband, and she's like, yeah, we have to call you back. We watching our Law and Order marathon. I was like, Femi. I was like, Femi, NYPD is in the middle of harassing your sister. She said, NYPD are my boys. And she was like, also, could you please stop upsetting all these police and these mayors with my fucking last name and my face? Could you stop? So that's my sister's official position.
Oh, God. It's funny how family, like, my mom, she'll be like, hey, did you hear about that thing that Biden did? I'm like, yeah, I did a video on it yesterday. I'm like, did you see it? She's like, oh, I haven't been online. It's like, yeah, but you're asking questions that I have answers to already.
That is my mommy. My mommy refused to even watch my Palestine documentary because I didn't even hear the audio note. It began with, you know, I condemn Hamas. Me pause. Just turn off. Like, all right. I see what she was like, I'm not gonna watch that because I know that you're gonna upset me. We're gonna have difference of opinion. Oh God. I said, all right. Cool. All right. So, but my daddy loved it.
Oh, good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
No,
Nice.
my daddy loved it. He thought it was excellent.
Because he was concerned. You said in that video he was concerned about you doing a video about that too. So he did like it. Good.
Yeah. Hey, my daddy said had his friend one of his friends text him, a Nigerian friend, like, oh, did you see this? And he was like, yes, I'm very proud of her. And the friend was like, but she didn't listen. Like, she told me, and my daddy was like, yes, but she thought about it. He gave you her analysis. He was like, I trust my daughter. It's actually funny the amount of people who, like, my mommy was showing me today. My parents forward me people trying to like slick slander me, give like shade me to my parents. And I'm just like, first of all, I'm 30. I'm gonna be 31 in July. I'm not sure what y'all think my parents can do about anything that I'm saying. That's one. Mm-hmm. But two, I'm like, they're also my parents. Like, my parents just go to bat for me every time. My parents are like, we are absolutely proud of her. That's my mommy. Like,
nice.
Yeah, so they're very proud. They're very happy. My mother is terrified, but they're both very, very proud.
How about
I would be terrified too.
What was the post-show response like? Were they like, oh, that was wild, or that was awesome, or that was good entertainment, or that was dangerous?
From my parents?
No, from the Breakfast Club crew.
The Breakfast Club. Oh, Charlamagne was like, that was phenomenal. Charlamagne was like, that was one of the best, like the best performances he's ever seen. He said, what he said was, he was like, you know, people. He's like, he said that's one of the greatest political performances he's ever seen. And he said there are people will talk a lot of shit online, like they'll talk so much shit online and get in front of a person's face and fold. And he's like, but you did not fold at all. Not a crease, not a nothing. And fact-based, direct, the voice didn't shake, nothing. So yeah, Charlamagne sang my praises.
maybe they'll have like a more prominent role for you on the Breakfast Club, because that interview probably did them well for views. That shit was good. Like, if you get an interview with like any politician, I feel like it's not going to do too well, but that one did numbers for them because everybody was watching it and talking about it over the weekend.
Because of the dynamic of it being me and Eric Adams. Like, it's funny. You know, what I will say, it is nice to have officially solidified I'm his number one critic. Everyone knows. I've always said that. I'm like, but that is factually solidified. I am his number one critic. Yeah, no, everybody was really like, Mark called me, Mark Lamont called me, and Mark was like, he calls me because of the phone. He goes, "Did you just body the mayor of New York City the radio break?" And Mark was like, "Listen, I hope you like that's some shit you could show your grandchildren. Like, please stop. Appreciate that. Like, that's a big deal. Like, I never seen nothing like that." So
it's gonna be like one of those moments where we look back on and be like, "Oh my god, that shit happened." So the day before, I was like amped up. I'm like, "Oh my god, I gotta fucking see this." And then after I watched it, I was thinking about it for 2 days, just like specific parts. I was watching videos on it, watching David's commentary, like anything I could find, because it was just like, holy shit! Like, it was such a big moment that like you don't really realize how big a thing is when it's happening. But this one is like, no, this is fucking huge. Like, a politician has never been held accountable this way. Like, at least I've never seen a politician be held accountable this way. It's always just like, you know, groveling at their feet or backing down, as Charlamagne said.
Or they get to run away because it's like in a public space, like a press or something. They're like, "I'm not going to answer that question. All right, we're going to pivot right now."
So it was really important. And like, who was it that said, like Matt, that said like this needs to be studied in journalism school? It needs to be studied in journalism school, and good journalists will emulate this. But the problem is that that type of like criticism and pushback will never be allowed on the mainstream. Like Mehdi Hassan on MSNBC came the closest to doing it. But well, look at him now. You know, he was out at MSNBC because he was pushing back a little bit too much.
Yeah.
It was great.
And that's the thing that makes me like, I always feel, I always appreciate how much everybody wants the biggest opportunities for me and stuff. And when other people are incensed that they feel like I'm not getting what I deserve. But for me personally, those kind of things just confirm to me that the right thing for me to do is to build my own thing and why I love life. For me personally, Olurin is the thing that matters most to me and in my own brand and what it is that I do, because that's what allows me to do what it is that I want to do. There's nobody at the end of the day. People will say things to me a lot like, "Oh, why do you do this? Why do you have that person on your show? Why do you curse like this? Why did there are a lot of people who are like, oh, you shouldn't be, that's the mayor. You need to show him certain more respect and blah, blah, blah." And it's like, well, at the end of the day, absolutely nobody can check me. Like, I own all my shit. I own all my shit. I make the determination on how it's going to be done. If you ever find yourself asking, why did Olayemi do it like that? It's because I can. Like, and I think that is the beautiful thing, right? A lot of these people don't have, they cannot do it. Like, there are consequences to doing that. You lose your job. No one's gonna fire me from Olurin. I'm not gonna fire me. Like, so it's like, great. Like, it is excellent. I really only have to contend with my own anxiety. That's really all I have to deal with. Like, oh, once my boyfriend was there. What was nice too is like my boyfriend was in the watching it. He was in the room, and when it was done, like, we walk over, like, Eric Adams and everybody is still in there. We're gonna go like take the picture. I walk in, my boyfriend walks up to me. I'm like, "How was he?" He's like, "Cause you a fucking beast. Let's fucking go." He was like, "Woo!" My boyfriend's there like,
"Oh, good man."
Wait, the picture. I'm sorry, this wasn't clear to me. I guess the picture was taken after the interview.
It was taken after the interview.
Yeah, Breakfast Club always does that. They do that with every guest. That's like a thing. Yeah.
Yes.
That was like got to be the most awkward 10 seconds of your life.
Honestly, you know what's funny? No,
it was worse for him, I'm guessing.
For me, I don't have any issue. I think like a lot of people like it really showed me how much a lot of people present to be a different way on the internet than they would be to people's faces. I'm not one of those people. Like, I'm like, my whole career is being in the room with everybody who opposes me. Like, I probably tell prosecutors all the time, like, you know, it's good morning, hey, smiley, da da da, and we get on the record and we have to do what we have to do. It's a job. And I think this is why people need to see like the difference between, I would say a lot of what kind of representation you're going to get out of your attorney has a lot to do with what kind of person they are. If you have an attorney that is scared, that is soft, that is worried about like feeling, you know what I mean, and isn't able to rise above that, you're not going to get the best advocacy. So for me, and no, it's not awkward awkward at all because I have no problem I have no problem. Anybody call me up. Like I said, this started from Charlamagne calling me on the phone to hear what I had to say about Candace, about them bringing Candace Owens on there, which I had said online. And I said it to him for 45 minutes and laid into more detail. Like, hey, yo, no, y'all dead ass wrong. This is wrong for X, Y, Z. So I don't have a problem articulating my point of view. And I think, it's funny. I don't feel, I'm not somebody who ever feels like, oh, because I'm a woman, blah, 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 because I don't feel that sense of inferiority people see about women, but it always shows me in moments like this what people think about women in these capacities, because no one expects men to like back down or to cower or not articulate the perspective that you have. It's like, I'm not I'm a professional. I'm not just like Olayemi the person. It's like, I'm an advocate. This is what I do. If I could only have my opinions or articulate them in a room full of people who agree with me, then all my clients in jail. You know what I mean? Yeah. So no, it wasn't awkward for me at all. I said good morning to him. Bye. When Eric Adams texted me afterwards and he said, he was like, oh, it was nice meeting you today. And I said, it was nice meeting you too, Mayor. And he asked me what my name meant. And I told him, and he responded with a prayer emoji that he did not change to the color black. It was yellow. And I think
I feel like that says a lot about his psychology, right?
Yes, it does. So yeah, no, it was not awkward at all for me. It was about, honestly, even when I was on Rising, like people would assume like Robbie and I got along great. Like we would have those the minute that segment is done. Hey, what's up? Da, da, da. Like a job is a job, a role is a role. I can be kind to you as a person, or I can deal with you professionally and still do what it is that I am meant to be there and do. So it was not awkward. I grinned in my blackboard. I was like, honestly, once the interview started, I was like, oh, it's happening. All right. Okay. My anxiety could at least subside because I didn't think the shit was going to happen at all. I was like, ain't no way. I was sure of it. I said, I'm going to be here by myself telling them about what's happening in New York City. No way. So once it started, once I was talking to him, I was like, oh shit, this is really happening. Me and Eric Adams are talking. This is nuts. I felt just like everybody else, like, ain't no way. Like, and that's why when I put up the picture, I had to be like, this is not AI. And even after I did it, I was like, I have to put up this picture so this interview doesn't get buried. So they have to publish the interview.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you didn't say that it wasn't AI, I would have automatically assumed it was like AI and you were trolling or something, even though you're not known to troll, just because it's like so out of the realm of possibility in my mind. Like, I remember your tweets from like last year where Eric Adams would tweet about like, oh, my haters, and then you would quote to him and be like, my name is Olayemi. Forget everything. Like, so like the fact that you faced him, it was just amazing.
Yeah, no, I honestly, I'm very grateful for the opportunity because that is not one that anybody gets. It's not one that I was
no shit.
Like people be like, I've had people ask me questions like, oh, what would you say if you could speak to Eric Adams? I'm like, please stop asking me stupid questions. Eric Adams and I are never speaking. I have no imaginary conversation planned with him. So when they said that, like, you to be under with the mayor, I was like, nah. No way.
Now you get to reach for the stars. Imagine whatever you'd like. Imagine conversations with whomever you'd ever dream of talking with.
Next is Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, they would get me out of there. Let me upset Joe Biden, and the immigration situation would get sticky. Oh, they would be so. First of all, my mother would be the first one to cut me off. Like, let me do that to Joe Biden. My mommy would be like, "You are really a stupid bitch." Like you are. Wow. My movie would be hot, heated.
I do gotta say, I respect Charlamagne for like actually reaching out to talk.
Yeah.
After you criticized them, like usually people shut down and they don't want to hear from you once you criticize. Like the fact that he reached out was actually really, because I've always followed Charlamagne for the most part. I like almost everything he says. Sometimes he'll say something that I disagree with, but you could tell that he's authentic and coming from like a genuine place. I respect him so much more knowing that he wanted to hear your criticism like that. That's good.
Yeah, me too. That's not the first time. That's the second time for the year Charlamagne's called me like, you hating again? Like, and I really appreciate that about him too, because I'm not necessarily, first of all, in general, I don't too much like to say negative things about people who are like my mutuals, or I know, like if I disagree with something you release, like say like I just go about my business, like I'm never gonna quote tweet y'all or whatever have you, right? But like the Candace Owens thing was like, I know you fucking lying. You like, you know what I mean? Like, I know you fucking lying. And so, because you know, we follow each other. I know he's gonna see it, mutuals, whatever have you, and people are tagging him. So I respect a lot too that he called, and he didn't call like, oh, let me argue with you. He called, he was like, hey Queen, let me have it. He was like, let me have it. Tell me what it is that you think. And I was in fact letting him have it. So I really respect that too. And there were a lot of people that were like, oh, Charlamagne didn't do enough to defend her or call Eric Adams on his misogyny and all this different stuff. But I'm like, yo, first and foremost, if Charlamagne had been talking more, y'all would be the same ones that are like, oh, you bring the expert there, let the expert talk. They would be mad saying that he shouldn't be participating. He doesn't know what he's talking about. That's what they'd be saying. That's one. But two, Charlamagne provided me an opportunity I would never get. Like, as with that, like, period. Like, regardless of what he did in the interview, I would never get that opportunity there's just no world in which it otherwise would have happened. So I'm very grateful, especially for it to come out of me being critical. Like, it didn't come out of me having to be like, oh, that's okay. I understand why you brought Candace. It's good. No, it has come out of me actually consistently, Charlamagne, valuing my critiques. So I appreciate that he allows for that criticism, right? And we do it. Like, I just put out an episode of Olay and Friends with a whole roundtable, and we we're talking about comments Charlamagne has made and different things, and having Candace Owens up there and why that's wrong. Like, I really do. I'm allowed to critique him in the full sense of what I think is wrong, and he will appreciate and receive that, and still continue to like value me and extend me that opportunity. So I can only be grateful for that.
I think
some people don't accept good faith criticism from friends.
Yeah, we know.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say, we know very much.
I think
speaking from firsthand experience,
like you did get that opportunity, but a lot of other people would have squandered it too, right?
Yeah,
like, that wasn't the only part of it. Like,
yeah,
you absolutely crushed it.
Yeah. Oh, well, I knew this one thing I will say. Like I said, I had anxiety for 24 hours. I knew there's no world in which I talk shit on Eric Adams and his administration every single day and get in front of him and let him watch me. I can never say one word about him again if that happens. There's just no world. You know what I mean? So I knew it was like, everyone's like, oh, this is a make it moment. Like, this is a career defining moment for you. But I was like, it also was a make it or break, a make or break a moment. If he had watched him, that would have. Yeah, listen, they would have had my ass for. Could you imagine? Like, that's it. No one did. Everybody had been like, "Fuck Rikers, fuck Bill Reform, shut your fucking ass up." You know what I mean? So I knew that I had to perform. So I was glad about that. Oh, I'm seeing everybody's tweets. I'm trying everybody's comments. This conversation is so lively. I've not been able to follow it for 1 second of this episode. Like, everybody in the chat talking, I'm like, oh, y'all are moving too fast. like, oh gosh. Well, I'm looking. Okay, yeah, no, I give up.
They're giving you your flowers as well. You better.
And I appreciate that, y'all. I really, really appreciate the love. No, my mommy was like, it's really crazy. I would have had. She was like, it really takes some. My mom goes, hey, you know what? I don't like to be crass, but it really takes some balls to go do that. She was like, so I was like,
that's right.
Thank you, mother. Thank you. I really.
That's like the highest compliment from like a parent, to say like, oh, you had courage. Like, that's good.
It's funny because my mommy was hating before the interview, and then she pretended like she wasn't a hater. Like, after the interview, she was like, my mommy said, and I quote, I know it's gonna go bad. Listen to your mother, man. Listen to your mother. God, I pray you find some humility. Oh Lord, it's gonna go bad after the interview done. Well, we knew that was gonna be. We knew that. Nobody was surprised. We knew that it was gonna be excellent. And I mean, come on, we knew that. Mommy's really proud of you. But Mommy's really proud of your courage. I said, ain't this some shit? I said, revisionist history. You were gonna be an anxiety attack for 24 hours, Monique. Oh. I see someone in the comments said it was so good that Eric Adams went to Rand to Rikers that Al Sharpton baptized him, and that is true. The next morning,
that was after, though. I thought that people were joking about that.
No, that was after.
That sounds like a joke.
No, he did that.
It was
directly
morning. After.
Yes, directly
after.
My
fucking
the next morning, like the morning of. Hoping he did it on the
really
morning
funny.
of the interview coming out. So hoping that would bury it like in the press. Like, okay, sir.
Wow. Wow. Holy shit. That just makes it so much better. Oh my God.
Listen,
I thought people were memeing about that shit.
No, that actually is exactly what happened. That's not like a Twitter joke. No, that happened. I'm like, I was really like, this is actually hilarious because it really says to me the level of the scramble. Like, would you coming up with like, who came up with, who suggested? I got it. I know what. We love Al Sharpton baptized you at Rikers. Like, what?
It's so random and bizarre. Like,
he's
what a
like
bizarre thing to do.
He's like an old school. He's like when you start researching things and you see the things that they got away with on the political landscape in like the 80s and 90s, and you're like, how the fuck? He's like plays by that playbook. Like, really, you Al Sharpton to baptize you at Rikers?
It's out of that era.
The pandering is like almost offensive. Like that, like the level of what he's doing is so offensive. Like, oh, religion. All time religion. Like, what? I don't even what? Like, it actually blew my mind. So yeah, that tickled me. That tickled me deeply. Let me look at the chat. But yeah, that's what I've got. That was and now I'm just doing press and interviews and things, whatever, for the next. I feel like my next several months are like booked to death.
You gotta
I
be
appreciate
like
you giving us the exclusive post interview.
Yeah, no kidding.
I did. You know, I love y'all. I would have done it that
was-
night, but I was so tired.
It's all good.
Oh yeah.
You got to be like
don't
the
worry
person that media outlets go to now when they need the critic of Adams. Like when they're writing a story on something Eric Adams says, some policy, some announcement, some
The New York
press
Times
conference.
dropped a piece on it today. The New York Times dropped their piece on it today.
Oh.
Bloomberg dropped a piece on it. A lot of places
didn't see
dropped a
that.
piece on it. New York Mag is getting ready to do their profile on me, so that's dope.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So it's gonna be
yeah.
lit. Yeah, it's my year. We love to see it. We love to see it. And everybody, if you haven't, you should subscribe to Olurin. We have dope ass things on there. You can join memberships now. We have the best emotes. We have our own emotes.
They're so fucking cute.
Hotep Raheem is my favorite. That is one of my favorites. Let me show y'all some of my emotes while I'm here. I'm going to start like live streaming, doing a live stream show like in the next couple of weeks. Every week on there. Let me check.
Oh, nice.
Hopefully not Thursdays at 8:30 p.m.
No, I will not do y'all like that. No, I don't do y'all like that. That's why Olay and Friends is on Saturdays, or Sundays. I mean, at 1 p.m. See Hotep Himi.
So cute.
Oh, I love that. The little laser
Nice.
eyes. That's so good.
Yes, I love it. And then if you see me and my red locks, my usual.
Oh, that's great.
That's mad. Yeah, so I love my most. The channel is very, very cute. We have lots of dope ass things come in, mad interviews and stuff. Like I have, and what I'm going to be doing is basically, so every time I put out my Olurin Productions, my big docs, the interviews, there's always like bits of interviews with people that are weaved in there. I'll make the full interviews will be available for my channel members. So when my Greg Abbott expose comes out, the interview from that the interview that's weaved in there will be available for my exclusive members. Same thing for all my videos coming out. Yeah. And so, yes, it's going to be great. A year full of content. Please go check out the channel. Subscribe if you haven't. Like, comment, share. Like,
Absolutely.
Oh, look at these comments. Oh, also, I did notice David's comments were so nice. David's comment section on your video comment ever. I got him to review. And I was like, look at y'all. I was like, now you appreciate me. They were in there like, it was one of the top comments. I was talking mad. One of the top comments was like, oh, Eric Adams should have known that Olay was so good. I was like, y'all should have known.
I'm telling you, the live audience is different than my usual odd. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the algorithm, whatever it is. It's like the live viewers is like a fraction of my audience, and it's not my usual audience. I don't know who they are, but they definitely appreciate you.
My Facebook audience is very different than my YouTube audience. My Facebook audience is like 95% like evangelical fascists, and my YouTube audience is just like leftists, like chill people, and like 5% maybe sex bots. But that's a different story for a different day. Not the PIB bots, but different bots.
Listen, we love to see it. I checked. I was like, oh, look, I was like, I've never received so much love from the rational national audience in my life. It was resounding love. I was like, look at you, fake motherfuckers.
They're a team national.
I literally turned to my boyfriend and I was like, ain't this some shit? A bitch has to read the mirror to get some respect around here.
Well, now they know. If they didn't know, now they know.
I loved it. Thank y'all for having me, y'all. I'm going
Thank you.
Miss you.
Great to have you
It's been
back.
so much fun. Yeah,
been great
thank
having you
you.
Bye, everybody.
You take care.
That was fun. That was good. It was
That was
great to have
great.
you
That
on
was
to
so
talk
much
about
fun.
that too, because there was
Oh my god,
some
I was
stuff I just
dying.
had to know. I just needed to know the
Yeah.
details surrounding it. I needed to know the before. We all saw the during. We needed to know the before and after.
I'm glad
Yeah.
the photo was brought up later because I meant to ask earlier, like when that photo was taken, and it's
Breakfast
funny
Club
it was
does
taken
that.
at
They
the end.
always take a picture with the guests in front of the sign.
Yeah, but I didn't know if it was like
That's good.
before or
I mean, it
after.
adds
But it was
something
funny
to
it was
it, you know?
after.
Yeah, no, that
All
was
right.
interesting.
Should we grab some super chat? We
I
probably should
think
have grabbed
so.
some of these while she was here because I think some of them are directed towards her. But
Did we
Yeah,
also
I
say
did-
Rebecca is going to be on next week? She had to work.
yeah,
Yeah, she's
So if you don't want her to work anymore, you should go subscribe to her channel and donate, and then hit up her Venmo and all the other links. Because
Yeah.
if you give her all the monies, then she can just spend more time doing the leftist mafia.
we need her to go
Not have
full
to be-
time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We're lying here. It's just so clear that the four of us can't have more than one woman on the show at the same time. We're just raging
we get nervous.
misogynists.
We can't talk to ladies.
You know, one lady I could deal with. You put two in the room, you know, and all hell
too
breaks
much.
loose.
it's because
We
they
gotta- we
upstage
gotta
us. They
tamp
upstage us.
down.
That's
Yeah.
can't handle it.
And their bodies destroy wokeness, apparently. That's what I've been taught to learn.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Ryan Chan.
This is for me, Ryan. Thank you so much. $5. NYPD isn't the only cop Twitter that is psychotic. The PD of my city posted and doxed information of protesters during Black Lives Matter on their Twitter. It's not surprising, but yeah, it's so unserious because like the whole perception that you think they want to get across is protect and serve. We love our community, but they're just like being antagonistic and dickheads to people online. It's so bizarre, but I mean, what do you expect from American cops?
Oh wait, are we going in order here?
Yeah.
Are we just doing them now?
Yeah, we're just doing them.
Oh.
I mean, there's no reason not to.
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah. Hold on, where's my hold on, I gotta see
Oh, well, I know that one's not for me.
All right, this one's for me. Razor Blaze with the super chat. Yay, Olay. Also, please invite Stephanie Sterling on the show. That's
I would love that.
Yeah.
They're great.
Absolutely.
Ryan Chan, another super chat, $2. Shout out to NJ for abolishing the ballot line. Oh, yeah, I can't articulate it, but I know that the ballots in New Jersey are super fucked up and confusing. I don't know if that's what Ryan is referring to, but if they actually fix that, then that would be good. Just like if you're not sure what I'm talking about, Google like a New Jersey ballot. If I'm thinking of the correct state. Pretty sure though that they're the ones with the fucked up ballots. Maybe chat can correct me if I'm wrong. The Lumpen Lodge with $10. Thank you. Please read my WSWS article, a memoir of a worker's experience in the American Gulag. I am a felon in recovery. Let me know if you want to talk. I get frustrated with you normies sometimes. Well, hey, I'm not a normie, but I'd be happy to read your article. What is WSWS? I'm trying to let me Google the title, and I'll be sure to read it though for sure.
Oh, not for me.
Let me check here. Oh, this one's for me too. Nappy by Nature, $10. Thank you so much. Hey, can you talk about or look into the street cop training that recently got leaked? It's basically what you expect from cops, but paid for with taxpayer money. Thank you so much. I love your work. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, that sounds interesting. I haven't seen this, but I will try to look into that. Maybe somebody can tweet the video to me or the article to me. Cosmere Dragon with $10. Thank you so much. Olay, I'd have sent this super chat to you, but you weren't streaming on your channel. Mike, please send this to Olay. Glad to see you return on LM and loved your Eric Adams debate. Yeah, that was good shit.
The Anti-Corporatist with a membership super chat. 2 ideas. Have videos of his quote RTG on your phone.
What's RTG?
I don't know. Is it? What am I missing here?
I don't know. And name staff at Rikers to be like.
And name staff at Rikers to be like, oh, I know Rikers. Otherwise, flawless victory. What does RTG mean?
Ruth Tater
Ready to
Ginsburg.
go. Ready to go, I bet.
Oh,
RTG,
ready to go.
Oh,
Yes.
I thought Ruth Tater Ginsburg.
Ruth Tater.
That's the first thing that came to mind. A tater tot
Very,
version of the late
very
Supreme Court
close.
Justice. Thank you, Thomas. Appreciate the gifted sub.
Thank you. What
do you mean?
Appreciate.
Oh,
this.
we all got one.
Did we all get that?
Oh,
there
we
we
all
go.
did,
Thank you.
yeah.
Oh, cool. Oh.
Go check out What Do You Mean's channel.
Yes.
All right.
On
Do
the
me a favor.
YouTubes.
Pull up my one specifically.
Oh yeah, I see all three.
Yeah, shout out to What Do You Mean?
Still alive. Thank you for the very generous $19.99 super chat. I asked some far righties online to define wokeness and got one answer I wanted your opinions on. They said it was, quote, when diversity is prioritized over fairness or logic, and brought up live action Snow White as an example.
To them,
These
wokeness
people are
is the thing
such
they
clout.
don't like. That's what it is. It's the
Yeah,
thing they don't
that's-
like.
What does that even
Yeah.
mean? Prioritized when diversity is prioritized over fairness
It's the same
or
complaint
logic?
about
What is-
DEI. It's every
That's
pop
so
culture right-wing
subjective.
channel. It's always the same thing. And what it comes down to is that, like, if you, like myself, are white and you grow up and white is the default setting, then you don't realize
Yes.
that when things suddenly change from the default setting ever slightly, even like, don't worry, the majority of all superheroes are still white men. The majority of action stars, all that shit. But if there's a little bit more representation of diversity, suddenly it feels like oppression. It's not. It's an oppression simulator. People think that they're being oppressed because other people suddenly have some more representation. Not enough, just a little bit. It's
Yeah.
No, that's that's spot on. But what I'm sort of focusing on here is how is live action Snow White an example of diversity prioritized over fairness or logic? What does Snow White have to do with fairness?
There's a new
or
Disney Snow
logic?
White live action remake where the star isn't 100% white, so there was a lot of
No, I know that,
outrage
but what
because,
does that
yeah.
have to do with fairness or logic at all? What is?
Because she took the job of a much more deserving, much more
Qualified white
talented
person.
white woman.
White woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. I guess that doesn't make any sense though.
Karshman. I don't know if I said that right, probably not, but thank you for the $4.99. Great to see Olayemi. I enjoyed watching her fillet Adams. Hope her cat as well. Yes, Raheem as well. She posted some pictures of him recently. Cosmic Dragon, whoa, with $20. Thank you so much. Very, very generous. Well, I wasn't going to bring up Olay's MW interview, but since she did, I hope she knows my constructive criticism was about her editing of the video, not the question she asked. Compare Olay's interview versus Mike's interview. I feel like Olay is a much better interview for me than me, so I would not want you to do that and compare them side by side.
Funky Fwesh, $5 super chat. Thank you. Says wokeness prioritizes fairness and logic. That's why conservative / mega hate wokeness. Makes more sense. Bay Photo, thank you for the super chat. Says was honestly waiting for Eric Adams to chant "Build the wall." His Trumpian rhetoric on migrants basically gives a win to Governor Abbott. Kudos to Olay. Yeah, I was watching the interview and then I forget if it was DJ Envy or I think it was him who brought up the migrant thing. I'm like,
yeah,
why are we talking about migrants? It's New York City. What's going on here?
Yeah,
it was so weird, and there was a little too much of that from of course Eric Adams latched onto that for a few minutes.
It's frustrating how much that us versus them rhetoric resonates with just normal people. I don't necessarily know too much about DJ Envy, but he kind of just strikes me as a bit of a political normie.
Yes,
so
that's what I get.
He's persuaded by those reports about how the migrants they're taking resources away from the New Yorkers who need it, when in actuality that's not really true. It's just they're trying to get you to think that they're the cause of your problems, and this is a tale as old as time. We've been doing this to immigrants forever, where we scapegoat them for all of our nation's problems. They're not the problems. They are a benefit to our country, very huge benefit economically.
Yep.
And in other ways too, not just economically. I think that they bring so much more than just like economic value to the country. So I feel like we need to get out of this mentality as Americans and stop seeing them as the enemy and see them as like fellow human beings.
And just stop falling for it. Like they've been using the
Right.
same exact talking point forever, and people still like. I get, you know, people who have, you know, they were using this 20 years ago and they were around back then and they fell for it then, they fell for it now. But if you're like someone who's like in your 30s or DJ Envy, I guess is, I don't know, 40, 50, whatever he is. But like someone younger shouldn't be falling for this shit. Like, like you
Right.
have to be able to see through this garbage at this point. Like, come on.
Yeah, think about it this way. If an alien species discovered the planet, you know, they would look down, they wouldn't see any borders, they just see a bunch of human beings, right? Try to view humans as that alien would, where it's like, we're not Americans, we're not Canadians, we're human beings. We're just the same, okay? So stop being tribalistic dipshits.
An American would say that. I get to be Canadian, you get to be American. That's how it is.
Well, that's fair.
I'm
That's
joking.
fair.
Go.
That's fair. As long as I want to get healthcare though. That's what I will say. That's the difference is
That's why you want us all to look the same, or all not look the same, but all be the same because you want our healthcare.
I need a fake Canadian ID to get
Leave
healthcare.
American out of my country.
Bwood171 with $10. Thank you so much. Yay, Olay decided to show up on my birthday. That's a great gift. Well, happy birthday, of course. But yeah, that is a good gift for sure.
I've seen like there's like 3 or 4 people that I saw that it was their birthday today. I'm like, a lot of
we
birthdays
planned
today.
it for you all, just so you know. We knew that it was your birthdays, and we're like, we got to get
Crazy.
Olay on for their birthdays. I gotta be.
Snack Panther,
Be right
thank you
back.
for the $10 super chat. Says great to see the smartest and coolest public defender ever. More Olay is never a bad thing. Agreed. Lance, do you have chats? Do you want to grab?
I only have a couple, so I could get to them
Sure.
really quick. I'll read them fast. Reikreen with the $5. Notice TYT didn't touch this Olay versus Eric Adams interview story at all. I
They
think
didn't.
only one of the.
Why would you not cover that? I mean, I know
Rashad
why. but,
Rishi's
like,
show. Yeah, I think only Dr. Rashad Rishi's show covered it. Otherwise, I didn't see any coverage.
wild. That is petty shit. Like that is fucking petty. Like this is a journalist. Like I mean, I would consider Olay a journalist after that interview. Like this is somebody challenging the mayor of the largest city in the country in a way that he's never been challenged before, and you didn't think that was
Most
newsworthy?
politicians haven't been. Yeah, I know.
They spend time like fear mongering trans people again instead. Like fucking ridiculous.
Agreed. What do you mean with the 199? With the message thanks. And again, everyone should check out What Do You Mean's channel. Rodberry Generators, thank you very much for becoming a member. Looney Tunes 9000 with the 199. Olay knows that Karen Kasparian is a Karen. I think that speaks to your points, David, maybe. Andrew S. Let Olay know that I joined Team Raheem with a very generous $10 donut. Thank you so much. And finally, Phoenicia David with the £5. Lance, you teach me so much. Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you as well. Thank you so much. And all you.
I lost my place. Here we go.
C333.
Oh,
Am I?
perfect timing.
No, I'm on me. Okay. C3339409. Olay, he ghosted you in real time. LMFAO. Yeah, that was nuts to me. It pissed me off.
Oh, for me, Weston Rodberry is a new member. Thank you, Weston.
Tokyo Hans with a super chat. Even Batman's Bane couldn't take down the NYPD. Olay's a lot closer to doing what he failed. Right. That's right. Let me tell you that I remember when that movie came out and I was watching it and I was like, wait a minute. I'm seeing Bane and his guys beating up the cops. They're supposed to be I'm supposed to be rooting against them. It's like, yeah, take down Batman. Let's go, Bane. This for me. Hold on. Yes, narrator with a $10 super chat. Only the left thinks like this. Let's be quieter about our policy desires. That's why Occupy Wall Street produced Tim Pool in the time the Tea Party elected a president. I mean, but
I think there's.
I disagree that it created Tim Pool. I think
Party,
Tim Pool used it as a jumping off point. Sorry.
But hold on, doesn't make any sense. The Tea Party didn't elect the president. Obama was elected president during the age of the Tea Party. I think. Listen, we too often see leftist candidates lose because, the larger mainstream public just isn't in tune to what's going on, and they fall for mainstream media and centrist Democrat propaganda because it sounds reasonable.
It's very effective. It's reactionary.
I think there's
you could add that as well financed as well. That's also very important.
I think there's zero problem with a respected leftist candidate running for office being a bit more careful than they would with the language or what policies they run on while they campaign, and then the second they get into office, just fucking go balls to the wall, go for everything that we know they stand for. Like we're losing we lose elections sometimes to like not playing the game and being strategic like liberals and neocons and even the right wing is at times. Like look at how the right's failing right now. They're not being strategic with their true views on abortion, and they're paying the price for it. Like they can't even get it together and be like, guys, why don't we just stop spiking the football and get our guys in, and then they'll continue to pass this stuff once they're in. But they just can't fucking do it because they're wearing their joy on their sleeve, and they're going, yeah, we did that. We banned abortion here and there and here and there.
All 50 states, baby.
And they're paying the political price for it.
Yeah,
I think Bernie Sanders is a good example of what you should do, which is actually speak about the issues you want to, but make sure you just phrase them in a way that everyone actually, when it's laid out in that plain language, agrees with. Like a lot of ideas sound scary when it's like, well, that's communism, that's socialism. But if you get someone who actually can communicate, hey, is there a 1% versus the 99%? These very simple slogans, like people actually resonate with that.
Yeah, part of the problem is that the left is like this organic thing. Right. Whereas these politicians, they're very focus group driven. So they'll say things that are like tested in focus groups. And so they workshop different slogans, whereas we just say what we believe. And I think that there's nothing wrong with like being more strategic and trying to meet people where they are, frame things differently, never compromise your values, obviously. But like, you talk about things differently. Like I had one candidate, I'm blanking on his name. He was a Zoomer that was running for Congress, but he was running in Florida. And he said that when he talked to more rural people, when he described like the benefits of Medicare for all, he would talk about the small business tax cut that would come with that. And that was his way of like trying to appeal to them specifically, like just trying to like be more mindful of how we appeal to people. I think that's important. And there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm not saying lie either. I'm just saying, be careful with your language. Be very specific in what you say. Like you could easily advocate for, like there are numerous ways to advocate for the same policy, for a policy that gets us to the same place, for the same exact policy.
Yeah.
Like, let's face it. I'm never gonna tell activists that defund the police is because I agree with them.
Yeah.
But a successful politician from the left probably should not be out there saying, I'm going to defund the police. But there are ways to say that without saying those words.
And
then you say, I want to invest in other aspects.
If I was running for mayor in New York City, I would be running on a platform right now that we cut education funding and things like the library's opening hours to send billions of more dollars to the NYPD. If we care about stopping crime, why aren't we creating programs for our children, our teenagers, our middle schoolers, our high schoolers? Why aren't we creating programs for them to go to after school where they can, continue their education, socialize in a friendly and safe environment? Why are we cutting library times when kids could be going there after school and learning instead of, getting into trouble or whatever? like that's a much more easy to digest way for people in the mainstream to take what is essentially, we're going to defund the police and put that funding into other more important programs. It's the same thing, but
because if you say defund the police, they'll clip that, put it in an ad, and be like, Matt wants to defund the police. Like, so if you don't give them that bit, but you still communicate the same message, you could be more electorally viable.
And then, it's important to point out that there are people, and I'm thinking of TYT here, that will criticize activists for saying defund the police as if the activists are hurting politicians. You can't you can't control what activists are going to say. You can't control activists how they're going to frame their message. So the idea
nor should you
try. Nor should you. So to use your platform to try and criticize that is ridiculous. It's another thing to discuss strategically what a politician should do while they are running. That is separate from trying to control what activists are saying, and which will never be successful, even if you wanted to try to do that. So yeah, I think it's important to separate those two.
Yeah. Matt?
Is this for me? Oh, it is for me. Looney Tunes 9000 with a super chat. No matter how Anna Kasparian tries, she'll never match Olay with her pure class and inspiration for others. We love you, Olay. I good super chat, but I don't know if anyone's making that comparison.
No, we don't need to be. We don't need to be, pitting people against each other right now.
Right.
Thank you, Rodberry.
Rodberry Generators.
Thank you
so
to
much
me for me as well. Actually, all three of us. There we go. Wow.
Nice. Can you pull up each individual Rodberry?
It doesn't say which one's who from what. But sure, that's one. That's the other one.
There we go.
That's the other
Oh,
one.
wow.
And probably Lance too, right? Oh yeah, we got.
Yes, I got one. I got one as well. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
And yeah,
Nice.
David Dole already did. He was very gracious. Yeah, I did get one more though. So can I just read that extra one out?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
So Ren. With the $5 dono, hey Leftist Mafia chat. Lance streams during the week are great, by the way. I appreciate that. They know. They know. I'm
Lance,
sure
why don't you just connect your channel to the stream?
Because I'm always already streaming, or can I do it offline? Because you have a different StreamYard link every week.
Why don't you start a new stream when we start?
Then you'd have to end it and it'd have like 2 different streams though.
So
if he did,
so why not?
But if I log in while I'm streaming, then does that like reveal stuff of y'all? Does it? Because like I'm already live at that point. So I usually just mute the tab and put it on the side until I see the opening sequence.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know
your chat saying I'm lazy. I am lazy. That's true. That call out is very.
he streams more than any of us. So I wouldn't say that Lance is lazy.
Ms. Warner, $10 super chat. Thank you. Says Montana Supreme Court just shot down voter suppression laws, all 4 at once.
Wow.
And the Democrat from Eureka Mountain,
Montana.
Is that what that's supposed to be? Oh, Montana. Is the son of the Oath
Maybe
Keeper.
Maybe it's Eureka Mountain. I don't know what the fuck they got.
It's a lowercase t.
Yeah.
There could be a Eureka Mountain. You can tell me you can literally make up whatever you want about Eureka. Montana, and I'll believe you. I got no idea what goes on.
Exactly. I have no idea. Is the son of the Oath Keeper, Stuart Rhodes, 27, and wears black nail polish. Woohoo!
What?
I don't know anything about this.
But if it is true, that's not good.
That's
the Oath Keeper is really bad. Aren't they a far right militia?
Yeah, they're part of the group that stormed the Capitol and coordinated like the overthrow of the U.S. government. I'm pretty sure that was them and Proud Boys, right? The Oath Keepers and
look that up.
Well, being the son of one doesn't mean you're one. I think.
Yeah, it seems like he is different than his father.
Real. Dakota Adams.
Is it Mountain or Montana?
What?
Yeah, right. I don't know.
Is it Montana?
Yeah, Kalispell, Montana.
Oh. So there's no Eureka Mountain.
He's the son of Stuart Rhodes, and in this picture, he looks like a metalhead guy. Like he's got long hair. He's wearing a leather jacket.
But this is framed that he broke free from his family and is not.
Yeah, right. Well, he's a Democrat, right? So obviously he's not.
I'm suspicious because there were people who broke free from the Westboro Baptist Church, and they were still doing terror propaganda.
I think I remember reading a story about this. I think that this is the son that I believe he helped turn his father in, I don't
Oh, okay. Well, then that's pretty compelling.
Speak out of turn, but I think that's what led to that happening because he realized who his father was.
Oh wow. Well, then he has credibility.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Oh, Miss Warner's in the chat saying it is Eureka, Montana, not Eureka Mountain.
Yeah, look at that.
I mean, you literally could have said like, "Oh, this was in Schitt's Creek, Montana." I'd be like, "Oh yes, Schitt's Creek, Montana."
Of course.
Yeah. And we're not alone. No Americans know about Montana. Even people who live in Montana, they have no clue about Montana. Nobody cares about Montana.
Yeah,
seems like a nice
place.
Montana's
always felt like the most bizarre of all the states. Actually, it feels like it's the one state where it has nothing it's known for, no particular identity whatsoever.
I've been to Montana's, the restaurant. That's as far as I
mean, but think of like Idaho.
I haven't even been to that.
Alaska's cold. Hawaii's tropical.
I like Montana's. It's
not
good,
tropical, but like an island.
Basic bar food.
Florida, everything's known for Montana. Is just like fucking. It's Montana. It's Montana.
Hannah, Montana. So
there you go. There we go.
She put them on the map. Bow to your queen.
Yeah, that show takes place in California, doesn't it? So
seriously,
people are bringing up like Joe Montana and stuff that are named Montana. That has nothing to do with the state of Montana.
It's a great last name, though. It's a great last name. So that's what we got.
Tokyo
Hans.
Five memberships. Thank you so much, Tokyo Hans.
All right, did you ready? Thank you, Rod Berry, again.
Tunbosin with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Tunbosin. Bowman was recently jacked by Bumas Congress self-proclaimed Zionist and minority leader
Bum-ass
Hakeem Jeffries. Oh, bum-ass. Okay. Meanwhile, his opponent is backed by former New York governor. What you call him? Oh, the wind's changing? What former is... What's... You talking about Cuomo?
Oh, so Cuomo endorsed George Latimer, Bowman's opponent. I know that Elliot Engel endorsed George Latimer too. He's still sour about the whooping that he got from Jamal Bowman.
Oh. But it shows you like whenever they're like, oh, get in line, progressive, they will never ever fucking do the same. Like they're just so full of shit. Just it's important to remember how full of shit these fucking. Not that needs to be reminded, but like
to your point, David. Wild. I mean, Byron Brown. He ran a write-in campaign after India Walton defeated him in a primary, and he won. He won the write-in campaign. So you're right. They will never, ever, ever get in line or cry unity. They're just you have these bitter losers like Elliot Engel and Hillary Clinton just lingering and never shutting the fuck up when we just want them to go away.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sorry. This is a little bit. I think this is funny. People are still discussing in the chat what potentially Montana could be known for. No one can come up with anything. And Irma Vep said some of Yellowstone is in Montana. I don't know why I thought that was really funny because Yellowstone is basically like when you think of Yellowstone, the national park. At least I do. It's mostly in Wyoming. So that's when you think of Wyoming, you think Yellowstone. But it is really funny to me that you would be like, oh,
that's where
Montana.
Yogi Bear goes, right?
Some of it.
Yes. But it would be funny if we're like, oh yeah, Montana. Some of Yellowstone is in there. That's what it's
There you go. There's Glacier National Park, Bighorn Mountains.
I mean, never heard of any of those things.
Huckleberries. I searched up what is Montana known for. Huckleberries is in the top 5.
I gotta say, Montana is probably the least known or notable.
Big
state.
Sky and sapphires. There we go. Sweet.
Oh, so nothing.
Oh, Jellystone. Sorry, it was Jellystone.
I'm not knocking Montana. I bet it's a beautiful place.
I'm sure
it seems beautiful. I'm sure it seems beautiful.
Yeah, but you guys gotta
do something.
Put your foot in the sand and say we got to do something notable.
Yeah.
We got to make Montana known for something.
Build a massive skyscraper, ruining the beauty that is Montana.
Oh wait, hold on. Someone just mentioned dinosaur bones. I think correct me if I'm wrong. in the original in Jurassic Park, the first Jurassic Park movie, Dr. Alan Grant and Ellie are their dinosaur bone dig that the whole movie opens on is in Montana.
Wait, I thought that was in like Jurassic Island.
No, the
No,
Jurassic
they go there.
Park is in the island off of Costa Rica.
The opening of the movie.
But the opening of the movie where they're doing the dinosaur dig, I believe that's in Montana.
Oh,
So a
okay.
fictional
It's been so
dinosaur bone
long.
is what they are known for.
Yes, yeah.
That's incredible.
Okay,
we're all ignoring this massive super chat here. Who's this
I
for?
know. This is for me, Lizzie. My God.
Oh my God.
$50. Do we have a soundbite for that? That's incredible, Lizzie.
I wasn't ready for this.
This is truly mental illness.
There you go.
I'm sorry, Lizzie.
It should have gone to me, I'm telling you. No, that's
I appreciate you, Lizzie, so much. Did anyone cover that moment when someone sent a super chat on TYT's live show asking Anna to reach out to Olay covering the beatdown she gave Adams? Anna refused, calling Olay dishonest for sharing a right-wing video of TYT people using the N-word. I have not seen this. I haven't followed anything that TYT has done for a really long time because it just kind of upsets me and makes me feel depressed. So no, I haven't seen this. But I mean, if Anna thinks that Olay is dishonest, just fact check everything that she says, and you'll be proven wrong. Yeah, I don't want to dwell too much on it. It's a big super chat, but like I don't want to instigate any more drama, especially.
No, $50 means you got to create drama. For $50, you have to make drama live right now. Make it happen.
Olay. Like,
Well, we haven't seen.
now.
Yeah, I haven't seen the video either, but that's depressing.
Yeah. I wish that it wasn't the case. I wish that they would try to respond in good faith, but I don't. I've washed my hands of that situation.
Wait, but how could they complain about someone using right-wing talking points against them when Anna's literally out there using right-wing talking points to attack activists and progressives in local municipalities, all in major cities all over the country with her crime rhetoric and all of that. Like she's literally
that's because Binder is pro-crime.
She's literally teamed up with right-wingers who join with her and say, "Oh, Anna Kasparian's finally getting with it. She's right here," and she'll like retweet them and shit. Like who is she?
Oh, so
to
you
say
love
that?
crime, Binder? You love criminals.
Yeah,
That's
like
you want them to be on the street.
I heard there's a guy in New York punching people in the face.
I was literally just on air.
You love
saying,
that. Maybe you're him. Maybe that's you.
I was literally just on the record saying I was cheering for Bane when he was beating the crap out of the police.
This one's Binder, I think.
It is. John Deere with a super chat. Olay got a great shout out on the UK leftist podcast Trash Future for her Adams interview. They were big fans. Yeah, Trash Future's good. That's awesome.
Rosa, excuse me, I'm getting tired. Sorry, $2. Jon Stewart should interview Olay. That would be awesome.
That would be sweet.
I would love to see that. I mean, John Oliver shared a clip of her, so it's certainly possible. She's got to be on their radar. Yeah, he did. A long time ago, actually.
Oh, a long time ago. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
I think if people are able to keep the Olay interview in their minds and because the news cycle moves so quick. Next year is the mayoral election in New York City, 2025. She could be someone we see all over the place. Honestly,
she should host that debate. Yeah. That'd be good.
I'm sure
they would not agree to that.
Yeah, it'll never happen.
They have to agree to the moderators. Not happening.
Yeah,
that'd be great though. Jana Blaha, thank you for your super chat. Says husband and I vote every election locally, etc. We had no idea Tuesday was the presidential primary. There must have been no ads then. Aren't there usually a lot of ads when that comes around?
I gotta say, Tuesday was the primary here in New York. And I, for the first time in my entire life, forgot about it.
This person, I think, is also in New York, as they're saying. Go Rangers.
I am someone who is in this bubble here. I'm in the political bubble, and I had planned to go and submit the blank ballot. I don't know what it was, but I just totally passed my mind for the first time ever. I've voted in every single primary, every single general election, whether it be just local races, city council races, whatever, you name it. And this it just completely came and went, and I was like, holy shit, what the fuck?
She says, friends hadn't known either. Yeah, so I guess apparently a lot of New Yorkers had no idea. We are so peeved, thanks. Oh, and let's go Rangers. Let's go Leafs. Go Leafs, go. Rangers are a good team this year, though. They're definitely, we'll see.
The problem with the New York primary was that it is something to vote for something, even if it's voting for uncommitted. And in New York City, you had to submit a blank ballot if you wanted to protest the vote. And that just, looking back at it now, it just didn't connect the same way. Like, just to show up and submit a blank ballot to me wasn't the same as, you know, showing up and voting for something specifically. And if you look, when they announced the result, when the results came in New York, there was no like space for this is how many blank ballots were submitted. Like that, like 99.9% of people have no idea what the percentage of blank ballots submitted were. Activists had to go to the official New York Board of Elections website and go through all the tabs or whatever to find like the delegate votes, and only there did they report how many blank ballots were submitted, and they didn't even total it. You had to go to each district and grab how many blank ballots were in each district and then total it yourself. So they really did not want to encourage this.
Yeah.
Nor did they want there to be a showcase of how many blank ballots were submitted. And I do think that affected how it stuck in the mind of people too, to get out and do that vote.
Was it a primary for both parties, or are they separated like some states separate?
It was both parties, yes.
Okay.
And it was only for the presidential election too, which also is something, because I would have probably also remembered if there were other down ballot elections on the ballot. But there weren't. The primary for everything else is in 2 or 3 months.
Why do they do that?
Friends, I gotta take off. I gotta go walk Chico.
Take care, Lance.
Every hour. Love y'all. See you next week.
See you next week.
I think for this reason that people will forget about one election or the other.
Yeah. Radio friend.
Oh, also I want to say, did anyone see that Rangers? Because the Rangers were brought up in the last super chat. The Rangers Devils fight.
Oh, the at the beginning, the line brawl at the very beginning.
That was
I was
insane.
even seeing non-hockey people tweet that. I'm like, wow, this even got out to the non-hockey people.
That was insane. I gotta say, I fucking love. There's a clip of someone.
There's a reason for that, by the way. I'll tell you why.
From overhead, who had the whole because the official broadcast video focused on specific fights.
Yeah.
So it didn't look as cool. Yeah. I mean, the commentary makes it for the broadcast video. I wish there was commentary over the fan video, because the commentary makes it for the broadcast, but the actual visual for the fan video is what makes that video. They have the overhead, so you see the entire rink, and how insane it is to see the whole team start fighting. There's that visual though. The second the puck drops, of all the gloves from every player flying in the air.
Yeah.
It was so good. It's so crazy. You know, that videos like that.
Watching CTE happen in real time, by the way.
Also,
that's the only downside.
I have a few questions. I used to be a big hockey fan when I was young. It was hockey. Next to soccer, hockey was my favorite sport. Like,
nice.
I was a huge hockey fan in '94. When
they
won. When we had the Great Rangers team, I went to that ticker tape parade when we won. I was that big of a fan. My dad let me skip school. We were there.
Nice.
That's the Rangers I think of when I think of Rangers. You know, Mark Messier, Jeff Boom, all those guys.
Nick Kyprios.
And look, I still remember their names too.
I was the biggest fan of the Ducks actually when I was a kid.
Really? Because of the movies?
Ducks, yeah.
Yeah.
Saw that from
literally, that was like I was really into it.
You know what though? I think that was what got me into hockey when I was little, And then the Rangers being so good was like, oh, this is my home team. And they're good. I love it. This is great. So 2 things. One, and you're a big hockey fan, so let me ask you one. Why is hockey the only sport where this is allowed to happen? Where like if there was to be a brawl like that regularly, or as part of the game in like the NBA or the NFL or anything, like they would shut that shit down immediately.
Yeah, I mean that's a better question for the other leagues because they've never hockey's always had fighting, right? It's always it's a thing that they're slowly trying to kind of push out of the sport a little bit, at least by emphasizing more on goals, less on there are very few players now that exist purely just to fight. That used to be a normal thing in the NHL. Every team had their fighter. Now it's that is not the case anymore. Except for New York now has this Rempe kid who's this guy who's gotten in fights with he just joined the league. He's played on a handful of games, maybe 10, 15 games. He's gotten in 6, 7, 8 fights. It's ridiculous. He fights every time, and there's this worry about brain damage, right? Because there's been a lot of studies into this, and not just hockey, but football. They know this is not good for the brain. And actually, a couple weeks ago, 2 hockey players on the same day committed suicide, and one definitely. Sorry, former hockey players. One of them was definitely a fighter. He had CTE. His family knew that he had serious brain injury. And this is one of the main, drawbacks of fighting in the game. And then the other player wasn't as known, but I'm not sure what he was dealing with. But this is one of the big issues, and hockey is still hockey is a great sport. The NHL as a league is run terribly, and they are still trying to deny the connection between fighting and or between the sport generally and brain issues. And so they're still trying to push back, against that connection. But in terms of I'm of 2 minds because I enjoy, I am human. I am an animal. I enjoy these fights. I enjoy watching them. But I also know they're terrible. They're terrible for the people that are being hit in the head. And if eventually they go out of the game, I'll completely understand it. It's not something that I'm going to necessarily miss because I'll understand why it's gone. But as long as it's here, it's here, and they're fighting willingly. They're not being. I will enjoy it. They're not being dragged into it, right? They want to fight.
I remember even when I was watching in the '90s, it wasn't a requirement to wear the helmet, and there were players who preferred not to wear a helmet on the ice. That is a rule now. They have to wear the helmet now.
I forget when they grandfathered that in, but they did grandfather that in. As same with the visor. The visor is not a requirement. Or sorry, it is a requirement now for new players, but there are still older players Ryan Reeves in the Leafs, who's I think he's 37, 38. He doesn't have a visor, and he's actually their big fighter on the team. So there are some guys who don't wear it because they haven't been forced to. But yeah, they grandfather in certain rule changes or changes to protection to ensure that certain players are protected as they join the league. But I'm telling you, this year, these playoffs are great. There's a lot. This is a year where it's a complete toss-up. There are a lot of really solid teams. New York's a great team. Colorado's a great team. The Edmonton Oilers are a great team. Vancouver's a great team. Winnipeg's a great team. There's actually 4 solid Canadian teams that have a shot. I would say Toronto, but I don't want to jinx it. Toronto's up and down. They could be good. They could be bad. But they're going to be in the playoffs. So it's going. I'm telling you, if you're not a hockey fan yet, find your team. Find if you don't have a home team, I don't know. Pick a team.
I'm gonna watch this season. I think after seeing that brawl and hearing that the Rangers got a good team again.
Yeah, they have a good team.
Are they? Last I heard, because there was that situation where that player got his neck slashed in the UK with the blade. Are they going to institute?
Yeah.
Are they going to institute the neck thing? I heard there's a neck pad or something.
Yeah, they got to switch to rollerblades. That shit is dangerous.
Well, it was.
He's not the first player for it to happen. He was just the first to die from it, I believe.
Yeah, it was like a freak accident where he was cutting it. Yeah, it was fucking terrible.
And it usually happens to goalies in the past, I believe. There was a goalie
The
There's a
goalies
video
all
I'll never forget. Like this happened
they all
in
wear
either the
it now.
80s or early 90s. The goalies have to wear it now because of this reason.
They all wear it now.
A guy was going with the puck and he fell and his blade hit the goalie right in the neck. And
also because like the puck may hit you in the neck.
The
like...
goalie,
right?
The goalie ripping off his helmet and blood.
Oh my god! I never watched that, and I don't want to watch. I also didn't watch the recent one because I can't watch it. I'm just like I can't watch horror movies. I can't watch fake gore.
Yeah.
So it's not.
He lived too. The goalie. The goalie lived.
Oh, he did.
That's good.
Yeah.
But the neck protector right now is it's one of those things where they're exploring the idea. I'm not sure they'll ever mandate it, unless this becomes like an ongoing issue. But a lot of players since that event happened have added it to their equipment where they are putting it on, and it's it'd be stupid not to. Like why? Like the neck is so exposed. Why would you not want to just protect yourself? It's not going to impede your play in any way. It's on your neck. It's fine. So hopefully more players do start wearing it because it's
there's so
protection.
many. Honestly, people talk about like football being dangerous for their kids or whatever. Hell, I'd
hockey's the worst.
I'd rather let my kid play football than hockey. Yeah, I mean, you got
sure.
the friggin' blades on every player's feet. They're skating around at full speed with a huge ass stick in there.
Well, I will say, I mean, the older you get, like there's no fighting in hockey, like in kids hockey. There's no fighting in hockey until you get to the pro level, right? So the AHL, the NHL, there's fighting, but before that, there's no fighting allowed in the game. So that's out of it. There's a full face mask in every league except for, again, pro leagues. So a lot of that protection is there if a kid's just playing because they enjoy the game, they enjoy the sport. But yeah, once you get up to the pro level, there's a little less restriction on you, and you're free to be a little more exposed, I guess. But it's definitely a sport where if my kid was on the ice in like the NHL, it'd be awesome, but I'd also be really worried that he's gonna hurt himself because he likely will at some point. Every player at some point breaks a bone, like something's gonna happen to them. Like they all get hurt.
And my second thing I wanted to say, and you can't answer this one, David. I don't think any of us can. But
I might be able to.
Mike might be able to, right? With everything we just said about hockey, how the hell is this not the most popular sport in America?
It's the most interesting sport. Like, as somebody who's not like a sports person,
I can tell you what.
Hockey is the most interesting sport.
The reason is because it's the hardest to pick up and play. A basketball, you need a basketball and a ball. A soccer ball and what? Baseball, a glove and a bat. Like hockey, you need a sheet of ice, right? Like unless you're gonna roller, or you could play street hockey.
You gotta learn to skate.
It's not the same game.
Hockey.
Right? Yeah, even like I haven't skated in 15 years. Like I'm not skating. My feet hurt terribly when I skated, so I never really took it up. It never really appealed to me because of that. But there's a much larger barrier to entry to play the sport, so I think that gets less people into it. But just as a pure, as a viewer, I think hockey is clearly the most exciting sport to watch. It's fast. There's a lot more goals now than there was, back say 15 years ago. They changed the rules a bit, so it allows the puck to move around the ice more. Because there used to be like 2-line offside passes, which would always stop the game for no stupid fucking reason. So they took those out. So there are stretch passes that often lead to breakaways, and the game's a lot faster, a lot quicker, more goals. The players are a lot better. Like the technology on the sticks have gotten better. Like the shots are insane now. Like how fast they are. The level of talent on the ice in the NHL is better than it's ever been. Like it is the sport right now is the best it's ever been.
Have they been able to emulate the knuckle puck though?
What's the knuckle puck?
From Mighty Ducks 2?
From Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, because if they can't do that, then they can't. They're not. On par.
Hollywood's Hollywood. But I feel like that movie got more people into hockey, at least
that's literally what got me into hockey. I swear to God. And Dom in the chat said that like us straight men can't be masculine on skates or on rollerblades. I have a counterpoint for you. I'm going to share you something.
That's not true at all.
Yeah, I have a counterpoint. This is going to change your opinion, Dom. Give me 1 second, okay? Hold it up. You will eat your words, okay?
This is what the peak male athletic form looks like, and there ain't a fucking thing you can do about it.
Mic drop.
That was great. That was smooth.
I hate that Americans love high-scoring games because that's why soccer is not more popular here.
Soccer's a great sport too. Yeah,
soccer is super fun to watch.
You don't need goals for soccer to be good. Yeah,
one goal it could be it. Like that's what's so great. Like I don't like the high-scoring sports. Like to me, like soccer is super fun to watch because of the strategy behind it.
That's why I have a really hard time getting into basketball unless it's the playoffs and there's closer games. Like it's just there's a basket every 5 seconds. It's just not the same. It doesn't matter as much.
The most fun I ever had watching soccer is basketball. Is my 8-year-old joined a basketball league for the first time this year, and 7 and 8-year-olds barely score. So it was really fun to watch this low score. Like the games would end like 8-12. Like that would be like 4 quarters, everything, and it was like
they should
really
televise those games.
Seat.
That would be that would be exciting.
Because every basket mattered and counted. So like you were at the edge of your seat every time someone was going to the basket.
Maybe I have a solution for the NBA. Raise the baskets up like 20 feet, 20 feet higher. Make it a lot harder to get it in the net. And then we're going to have a low-scoring, tough game. And if you get a basket, it's going to be like an amazing feat. And that would be a more exciting game to watch. Raise up those baskets.
Then it's even more so a sport for tall men than it already is. And as a short guy, that's no good for me.
That's true.
I say the basket remains at the level it is, but it moves. It moves
across
the.
I don't mind that idea. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not
and
bad.
shorter players, they get to there's like a little platform. They can run and jump off of that. The taller players, they don't get to use the platform.
That's not bad either. So they could actually dunk. Give them a chance to dunk. I like that.
Yeah.
There are basketball fans watching us right now screaming at the television.
Although, you can be still really talented. Like Muggsy Bogues, he was fairly short.
He's the one guy everyone always brings up. He's the one guy, though. Oh, what do you mean?
He's the exception to the rule.
That's true.
What do you mean
but he was so
talented, a tall man sport? There's Muggsy Bogues, right? One guy. There's been one guy.
That's fair.
I will say though, the Raptors run when they won, like that Kawhi Leonard shot, which was in like an earlier round, but there are some moments like in close games in the playoffs where the NBA is really exciting, really fun to watch. But during the regular season, right now Raptors are getting fucking destroyed because they're blowing up the team. Like it's just not. Why would I watch a game? They're just getting killed, and it's not fun. But
I will say, as little interest as I have in sports, I used to play like all those fucking video games. Like I remember I played. I don't remember what the game was, but there was a Wayne Gretzky game on like Nintendo 64 that I
played.
Wayne
Gretzky 3D hockey. I think that's
I played that, and then I played NFL Quarterback Club 96 on N64. I played the fuck out of NBA Ballers, and it was so much fun because the way that I won was I would just like foul the players, and they would allow that to just like grab the players and throw them back, and it had a really great soundtrack. NBA Ballers. So as much as I'm not like
NBA Street Volume 1 and
right. And there was the Mario one.
Amazing games.
For GameCube. Did you play that one?
I never played the Mario one. No.
You'd have this little Mario character jumping and slam dunking with these like real life players. It was amazing. It was amazing.
That sounds
all right.
absurd.
Now I'm getting shit because people are naming other short basketball players. All right, here we go. Earl Boykins at 5'5", I'll give you that. That guy's a short basketball player. So there was another one. But you can't be bringing up Nate Robinson, who stood at 5'9". That's maybe a short for basketball guy, but that's still a tall guy.
Mike from the Humanist
Report. Is 5'9"
short,
tall?
good basketball player.
I mean, to me, it's tall. To me, it's tall. That guy's got about 4.5 to 5 inches on me.
All right, that was Sports Corner. On to the next chat.
I think this is Matt.
Oh, is it? Oh, it is. Radio-friendly box with a $5 super chat. Olay's interview was like an episode of Hot Ones, and Eric Adams couldn't handle the heat. He was sweating like he was worried about his browser history.
Emo Dragon, thank you so much.
There's two of these. There you go.
Bwood171, $5. Thank you, Bwood. David Dole every week.
Name.
I can tell by the empty bottle of Corvair Corvasaur, that it is time to say goodnight.
Is that
something you drink, David?
Corvasaur? I feel
Oh,
like that's
okay.
a word.
I knew I
feel
butchered
like that's a
that.
word I know. I think I still butchering it. I don't know. I don't know what that is. I feel like I should. I'm
So
not
you
a
don't
huge
drink
drinker.
it, then I have no idea.
I'm mostly a beer drinker if I drink, but.
Emo Dragon, $4.99. Thank you so much. Proud to be both a Humanist Report and Olurin member. Hey, I appreciate that. There should be a show where she grills guests called Cooking with Olay. That would be amazing. And as she's grilling them,
And she
she's
should
also
literally
cooking.
grill the guests.
Yeah,
She should literally grill the guests.
Or maybe barbecue while
I feel
grilling
like that would be
them.
cool. Like a cooking show / political debate show.
Yes.
Nobody's thought of that, so.
It's a lot to
You know,
juggle.
I'm thinking about like that Twilight Zone episode where To Serve Man. Like Olay invites you where she says she grills her guests, and someone's about to go on. Mayor Adams is about to go on Olay's show, and one of his aides runs in and goes, "Mayor Adams, wait, grilling guests! It's a cookbook." Oh man.
Penelope D out, $5. Thank you. Emma covered the NJ ballot on MR today. Okay, I have not seen that, so I'll have to check it out so I can get the full story. I was focused on my video for tomorrow today, so I'm not caught up on my political news.
Tunbosin with a super chat. There's a video of Adams called "Show Me the Money" on the New York State Senate floor as a first-time senator complaining about his salary of $79K. Oh, there's tons of stuff out there, Adams. He had a pull up your pants campaign, and when he was
what?
Yeah, you never saw this? Hold on, let me.
You had a
pull up your pants campaign.
The most important cause ever.
Is it as dumb as that bedroom video?
Oh, it's
popular
it's up
popular
there.
knapsack with many different locations. That's one of my favorite.
Yeah, who
quotes
says
from that
knapsack? Like, what was this
Popular
recorded in
knapsack.
1953?
Popular knapsack with many different locations.
So bizarre. I think that your video, David, was the first time that I like watched it that much. Like I saw tiny little clips here. I saw the crack pipe
it's
part,
so
but
good.
I didn't see
Yeah.
that
Play
much
this
of it.
on
and
the
it was
stream.
so
Play this
unhinged.
on the stream.
Let me bring it up. Oh, it's not available in my country. You have to play it, Mike.
Okay.
It says video unavailable. Uploader has not made the video available.
I have
in my
something
country.
queued up for later. Somebody brought it up, but let me pull this up. Oh God, this is so stupid. I could already tell.
I love that someone is clearly watching like the stream on delay, and they just put in the chat right now. Montana is beautiful if you're into nature.
Oh. I'm not, so I'm not gonna like Montana. I hate nature.
I love
nature. I'm just kidding. Okay, this is the
Stop the sag. Oh yeah, sorry. Where is that?
Play the video. Yep.
Oh my God.
The 22-foot tall.
Wait, it's CBS News. Is this going to be a problem?
No, it's
This is from like 10 years ago. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Okay.
I play CBS clips on my channel.
Okay.
Billboards will feature the backsides of two male models with their pants so low their underwear is exposed. They'll appear in 6 locations around Brooklyn, primarily in Crown Heights. State Senator Eric Adams unveiled the prototype yesterday.
Oh my
when
God.
you raise your pants, you raise your character. When you raise
What
your
a
pants,
waste
you
of
raise your grade.
fucking
I
time.
wish I knew of this existence. I would have used this video in my video too.
Apparently, the whole sagging pants trend is more than just young people testing the boundaries of society. Senator Adams says it's actually something that started in prison.
Interestingly, reaction to the campaign seems mixed along gender lines. Guys we spoke to don't like it.
My opinion is this is to the individual. You know?
Yeah.
I think, it's
Case
free
closed.
country.
People have been walking around with their pants hanging off their behind for years now. It never hurt anybody, never bothered anybody.
But the ladies are all for it.
That's good. I don't like the young people with the pants.
Talk to an
going
old
down.
person who very clearly is going to be
Olay's
like, oh,
mom.
I
no.
don't like how they look.
You think it's a good idea?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. They should make it a law. Give out tickets.
Fuck you.
Senator Adams
What? That's Olay's sister.
Just setting a good example.
It is the responsibility of adults and young adults to set a standards for the youth.
This is so fucking stupid.
I feel like this guy lives to pander to white people is how this comes off.
Yeah.
He always comes up with like sayings and stuff. Like that one is a Eric Adams classic. When you raise your pants, you raise your character.
It's just so like shit. Maybe that sounds good on paper, and then you think of it for half of a second. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
So goddamn stupid. Holy shit. Imagine
That's
caring at
unbelievable.
all about that. Wow.
It's for me. Social Lust with a super chat. Invite Dusty Smith whenever possible.
That would be good. I would like to do that. Infinite content, $10. Thank you. Mike, Olayemi must have thought when she was gonna go on with Eric Adams, some people wait a lifetime. Oh, the Calico. Some people wait a lifetime. Okay, give half of this to Olayemi. Okay, we'll do.
A bit late now.
Yeah, yeah.
Is infinite content drunk? Why is Mike spelled with an 8? And it's Eric Adams?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I wasn't sure if there was like any significance to the 8, but
Mr. Top of New York, I agree. You are the top of New York. Thank you for your $20 super chat, sir.
1 and 0 and 2.
Why aren't more people talking about Project 2025? Trump is only the far right's vessel to turn government into Handmaid's Tale. Yeah, Mike has a great video on that. I've also covered that as well in various videos.
I talk about it a lot.
It should be a topic that's definitely discussed. I mean, as we get closer to the election, I think that for sure should be a focus.
They did. I think that they removed the book that you can order, like the 900-page document, because I think that they realized that people were starting to get worried about it. Yeah, so they're like, okay, we've got to hide that shit, but it's out there. Yeah, people downloaded it and they have it, so it's too late. Otaku Dragon with $5. Thank you. Aliens would look at us as idiots killing ourselves. That's true. Between climate change and the religious extremism, they'd say, I'm not touching that. Yeah, you know, it's possible. Maybe they're there and they know that we exist, but they're waiting until the last second to intervene because they want to try to have us like help ourselves first before they help us.
AOD fan with a membership super chat. Hi Matt, you ever watched the movie Ready to Rumble? Also, should try to have Owen Jones on the show. Yeah, that might be hard though, because we stream when it's like what 4 in the
middle of the night.
Yeah, it's a lot to ask of someone who's that high profile in a different country.
All right,
but he's awesome.
But yes, I have seen Ready to Rumble, the WCW wrestling movie starring David Arquette. Of course, I've seen that movie. An all-time wrestling classic that led to the made-up match from the movie actually happening in WCW. Yes, how could I forget it?
That's very interesting.
Darnell Henriquez,
it's WrestleMania weekend. That's probably why he asked that question. WrestleMania
okay.
Weekend.
Sorry to well, but Batman is in New Jersey.
No, he's not. Gotham is clearly New York City.
What? Chicago.
What?
What? I
mean, they actually filmed.
They filmed in Chicago, didn't they?
In New York City. No, in fact, that scene where Batman and Bane battle with the police, that was filmed during Occupy Wall Street, just blocks away from Occupy Wall Street.
Oh, really?
And it was like a news story because also some activists saw all those cops and thought they were coming to crack down Occupy Wall Street. This was back in 2011 at like the height
maybe
of
parts of it were filmed in New York, but I'm reading here. Chicago serves as a filming location for Gotham City and Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises.
Well, that was definitely in New York City.
I don't know.
What were you going to say, David? You were going to say something.
Oh yeah. Oh, what's the big fight in WrestleMania this weekend?
So it's a 2-night event. So there's 2 main events, one for each night. The main event night 1 is Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns and The Rock.
That's
his
right.
His first match since he left the last time he came back in 2016. And then night 2 is Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns for the title in a rematch from last year's WrestleMania. Roman Reigns has been the champion for the past 4 years, I believe, undefeated, which is very rare in modern wrestling history. Usually people don't hold the title for that long.
Aren't they doing it to like beat Hulk's record? I feel like that's kind of like doesn't Hulk Hogan hold the record?
No, the record will never be defeated. It was Bruno Sammartino. He held the title for 10 years.
Oh my God.
They're never gonna, and this was back in like the day when, the WWE would just run Madison Square Garden and like the Northeast. And like, it was, it was built around people coming to see Bruno Sammartino. It wasn't built around people coming to see, the WWE. So it was different then. Now they don't have people hold the title that long because people come to see the WWE. They can make numerous superstars and make a lot more money than just building it around one guy who could just decide to leave and leave them, in a tough place.
Mm-hmm. So who do you think is going to win that match?
The first night, it's pretty clear because if in that tag team match, if Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins win, Roman Reigns' group, the Bloodline, are banned from ringside. Last year, they helped cost Cody Rhodes the match. But if The Rock and Roman Reigns win, then it's a Bloodline rules match, which means anything goes, including the Bloodline can interfere in the match and won't get Roman Reigns disqualified. It's pretty clear that The Rock and Roman Reigns will win. So the next night, anything goes in that match. And we're going to see, I think, a lot of interference. There's rumors of a Stone Cold Steve Austin surprise appearance because it'll be the 25th anniversary of the first time Stone Cold and The Rock faced off. So people think maybe Stone Cold will come to help Cody Rhodes if The Rock tries to interfere.
Shit.
I think it's going to be crazy.
Maybe I'll watch this.
It's going to be really good. It's $5 on Peacock.
Actually... That's it?
It comes with the Peacock subscription, so it's not $5 for WrestleMania either. Just
I'm not sure Peacock. I'm not sure Peacock's even available in Canada.
Oh, you might have to subscribe to WWE Network in Canada, but that should only be like $10 for WWE Network in Canada.
Isn't it available through like regular pay-per-view things?
Yeah, it's like 60 or 70 or 80.
Oh my
God!
God!
There.
Ooh,
yeah. So definitely just get.
I definitely
VPN
will not steal it.
Peacock.
I will just watch it legally somewhere.
I mean,
there you go.
Peacock's $5.
Watch it very legally.
Easy,
If I get it through Peacock, 100%, like that's easy. Yeah. All right, where am I here?
So we just read that one, yeah.
So Ren, thank you for your super chats. Is sending all my cash to Canada tonight. I should have a Canada sound drop. I don't know why. I should have like, oh Canada. That'd be great. Just drop that every now and then. Skylar the writer, thank you for your super chat. Says, y'all rock. Any advice for wannabe news YouTubers?
Just do it.
Do it because you enjoy doing it. Do it because you enjoy doing it, and you'll find your audience if you're consistent.
I thought about it for too long and never got around to doing it till much later than I should have.
Right.
And so you shouldn't do that. Just do it. And then reach out to other people. Do panels, streams. There's a lot of other streamers out there. Do a lot of cross streams. Just do a lot of work with other people, and you'll find an audience.
Be consistent and expect there to not be a lot of views in the beginning. It's a grind at first, but if you keep plugging away and you put out quality content, you'll find an audience.
It's also easier, I think, at this point if you have a niche, because there's so much out there. But if you have like a specialty, like something that you like that's in your background that you really are aware of or can speak to, then that helps too.
Yeah.
Emo Dragon, thank you for the super chat. $4.99 says TYT main show didn't touch on Olay's showdown with Eric Adams because Jenk and I probably sided more with Adams. Love your work, Dave. Well, I mean, hard to argue considering some of the stuff I heard about them talking about crime.
Yeah.
RJ Webb in the chat is laughing. He's LOL because I said cross streams. You should do that too. Cross streams with other streamers. It'll build up that relationship, and you guys will be really close, and you can depend on each other for content.
Very close.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think Leftist Mafia started? We all just started crossing streams.
We had the same joke at the same time.
True. Asa Rosa with $2. Thank you. Hoping Barron Trump doesn't end up like his father. Yeah, I hope so too. He seems to be like the most normal aside from Tiffany.
Because we haven't heard him talk, so we don't know.
That's true. Hopefully he sees what his siblings and his father are doing and has some self-awareness and thinks, okay, you know what, I'm gonna chill. I have a ton of wealth coming my way very soon. I'm just gonna I'm gonna live my life. Hopefully he does that.
Yeah,
I heard he sounds I heard he sounds just like his father, though. Have you heard him talk about his height?
Mm-mm.
He says he's 7'2".
Oh, really?
For a second, I thought you had a real.
I was like still sold after you said
it.
I'm like, wow, what is it with the 2? Is it like some fucking dumb fuck accent that's in their genes?
He
like,
is gigantic, though. Is he 7'2"? He's fucking massive.
I just made up a random number. I think
he's
Tony
near
Rizzo
7
is
feet.
asking me. She's a mod in my chat. Too broke for super chat, totally fine. But would you ask David what his thoughts are on season 2 of Shoresy? I have no idea what that is. What is that?
I don't watch that show. I know I should as a Canadian, as a hockey fan, but I never got around to it. I hear it's really good though. It's like a hockey Canadian sitcom basically, but I hear it's like really good.
Parker with a super chat. How hype were you for WrestleMania this weekend? 1 to 10, 1 through 10. I'm really hyped. 10. I think maybe a 9 only because I'm still angry they didn't explain that weird Cody Rhodes The Rock thing. So basically, for people who don't know, Cody Rhodes won the Royal Rumble in January, which means he gets to main event WrestleMania. That's been wrestling history for decades. And then shortly after he won the Royal Rumble, they set up Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns for the title, main event of WrestleMania, a rematch from last year. It was set in stone. And The Rock comes back, and Cody Rhodes randomly just says, you know what? Because you're back, I'll sit out this year, and I'll let you face Roman Reigns for the title at WrestleMania, because that's what people want to see. Just why would anyone do that? It made no sense. It's clear that the WWE just wrote it in the storyline because they thought the fans would be so delighted that The Rock was back, and that's what the fans wanted to see. Well, they were wrong. There was a complete backlash online. There was a "We Want Cody" campaign. The WWE was The Rock turned into a heel turned into a bad guy in the eyes of the fans without actually ever doing anything that a bad guy does yet. And so the WWE just nixed the storyline, put Cody Rhodes back in the main event, turned The Rock heel as a sort of explainer as to why, this was going on and why they should hate The Rock. But they never really explained what was going through Cody Rhodes' head for him to be like, you can do this. So that's bothered me throughout this whole couple of months of build up to WrestleMania. So I'll give it a 9 for hype just for that reason alone.
Yeah, sometimes there's like a lack of consistency that can pull you out of it. It's like,
Yeah. As for me, Thinkronicity with a $20 Canadian super chat. That means it's even more than $20 in real money, right?
That's right.
Canadian money is the trade-off is I get more, right? But Thinkronicity says, it's worth listening to the first 15 minutes of Keith Olbermann's episode, Trump, I Will Federalize State and Local Cops, April 3rd, 2024. That's the date of the episode. It is factual, so one's opinion of Keith is not the point. He is correct. It can happen on day one. I'll have to check it out.
Kowalski with $9.99. Thank you so much. Very kind of you, sir. I've spent the last 6 months tracking down Olay's haters for re-education, and just as I finally got them all, she decided to take on the NYPD. This could take 9 months to fix. I need a Bane mask.
The Emo Dragon with a super chat. Ian Miles Chang's new woke enemy is basic math order of operations. Checked out Apes of State based on your recommendation. Good stuff. Keep up the great work. Yeah, Apes of State's a great band. Apes of the State is a great band. And yeah, I saw this. So Ian Miles
I have it ready.
Okay.
I've been waiting for this shit.
Should I read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
So Ian Miles Chang tweets, "Excuse me, Apple. Why is this calculation wrong? Why is this calculator wrong? When you key in 50 plus 50 and hit the equal key, it'll give you 100. Multiply that by 2 and you get 200. That's correct. But type in 50 plus 50 times 2 and it spits out 150. What gives?" And he includes a video that shows him inputting this calculation. And this is known as PEMDAS. You learn
I love
this
the community.
This is like basic math. You learn this in grade school. That in the order of operations, if you want to do 50 plus 50 and then times that those added numbers by 2, you got to do 50 plus 50 first and get the answer, and then times it by 2. But if your equation is 50 plus 50 times 2 all together, then according to the mathematical order of operations, you first multiply the 2 times 50, which would give you 100. Then you add that additional 50, which would give you 150, making Apple's calculator completely correct. And Ian Miles Chang, an idiot.
Yeah, it's my opinion that the order of operations ought to be simplified like it is in Casio calculators. He also says that the order of operations is ableist slur. I'll put that up on the screen. So he's coping. He doesn't like the community note. This had me laughing so hard this morning. Like, I cannot believe these people. Like, what a fucking moron.
I can't help but think anymore. Anytime I see anything on Twitter from a check mark, I'm thinking, is this simply for engagement because they get paid more if people are engaged with this? Like, I can't.
That's why I usually don't quote tweet them. Yeah.
Yeah. Twitter is so hard to take seriously now because any dumb shit I see, I'm like, this is for engagement, right? I can't trust this person's actually this stupid. I just
right.
So I don't know. I mean, then again, that guy's a fucking clown, so it's quite possible he's serious.
Well, it turns them into clowns for clout. Like there's this, I don't know the name of the guy, but you might have seen it. There's this right-wing Gen Z MAGA figure, and he posted like this photo of himself, and he's like, I am alpha, I am pro-Trump, do you find me attractive? And the photo of himself that he shared was the most unflattering. Terrible. Like he looks like he's
like
dead.
A cadaver.
Yeah,
but
like
he's not. He's not real, right?
That's not what he looks like, because he posted photos of himself wearing shirts with slurs on them, racial slurs. So he doesn't like he photoshopped himself to look terrible. I don't think he's a real person. I think it's just like an account to engagement farm. He pays for Twitter Blue. Somebody says Rick Strokerson. So it's not a real person. It's just like a character. It's so fucking. It's like I was.
Gen Z who looks like he's like 50, like he's like a 50-year-old mixed with like a Gen Z. It's such a weird person.
Yeah, like he actually, his skin is so white. It's like he looks like he's actually like dead. Like literally, like I'm not being hyperbolic.
And just his features are like this looks like a 50-year-old man, but he also does look kind of young, but he looks like he's 50. It's a really weird looking person.
Yeah,
I don't think he's real.
Lizzie Bennett, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Voted blank on NY primary. F Genocide Joe. Hell yeah. Glad you did that.
Tokyo Hans with a super chat. I really hope they can make Jurassic Park a reality. I could go for some JFC, Jurassic Fried Ceratosaurus.
That's pretty funny. Taylor Celadonia. $10 super chat, thank you. Says, do y'all F with bad empanada? He posts some incredible Palestine content, and he even confronted pro-Israel Palestinian, and it didn't go well for that guy. Would love y'all to have him on the podcast. I've heard this guy's name before. I don't know who this I keep hearing the name. I think I've been told who they are, and then I forget who they are. I don't know who this person is.
So I had a debate with Ben Empanada because he got very angry at me.
That's
when
why I recognize it. Yes. Okay.
When there was that white supremacist shooter who had a Latino background, and right wingers were up in arms about how can you call a Latino a white supremacist, and I simply made the point that there's actually a historical basis for that. There's actually a history of neo-Nazis finding refuge in South America, which is true. In fact, literal Nazis, not even just neo-Nazis, from Germany during World War II, after they lost the war, they fled to different South American countries for sanctuary. And some of them were hunted and brought back to Europe to face justice. He had a problem with me doing that because he called it, he said that I was perpetuating the trope of Argentinian Nazis, which, A, there is a trope, but B, there again is a historical fact that Nazis did indeed flee to Argentina. I mean, there's a reason also why Argentina is the whiter of the South American countries, and you get all these like Argentinians with like German last names and such. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not saying people from Argentina are white supremacists or Nazis. People of Argentina are mostly good people. I mean, I was cheering for the Argentina soccer team. I wanted Messi to win. I was just saying that there's a history there where there are some Nazis in South America, and that there is a historical reference to white supremacists who have Latino backgrounds. And he didn't like that, and so he debated me. It was just one of the more ridiculous debates ever. It wasn't even like debating content. It was just like his opportunity to call me like a discount Sam Cedar or something like that. Like, he didn't even refer to me by name. He refused to even put my name in like the title of his stream. He called me Discount Sam Cedar. I don't even know why or what that meant. I think he was just mad that he wanted to get on Majority Report and they never invited him or something. So this was his way to like stick it to us or something. Very weird guy. I mean, I've even since that, I've liked some of his, like, I've actually clicked the like button on some of his points that he's made on Israel and Palestine. I don't hold, like, I'm not going to pretend the guy doesn't have some good points on other issues, but the fact of the matter is he's just an asshole, really. Like, and he hurts himself that way. He's actually lost a lot of people within the left who probably would have liked him otherwise. He hasn't just done it to me, apparently. So, you know, it is what it is.
Is this a real super chat?
Also, I should mention he's an Australian who moved to Argentina and lives there now. He's not even like a guy who was like born and raised in Argentina and is like fighting for like his, you know, his background or like he's a weird Australian white guy who moved to Argentina and pretends he's like a legit like ethnic Argentinian or something like that. Best Boomer Vida with $100 super chat. My God, $99.99.
What the hell?
Cats. Says Best Boomer Vida. Thank you, Best.
You have so much more text with a $100 super chat.
Why am I even here? This is completely unfair.
Tokyo Hans with a super chat. Mighty Ducks movie, first step to the DEI craze.
True. You know, when I got into the Mighty Ducks as a kid, I was like maybe in second, third grade. I was really into hockey, like practicing shooting stuff. I really enjoyed it. I just played by myself. But then I started doing like little tricks, and then it started to become gayer, and I was like trying to figure skate with the rollerblading. So hockey made me gay a little bit. It was a bit of a gateway. So be careful, folks.
Hockey needs a little more of that. That's the one thing hockey's missing. It's needs to be a little more gay.
Oh, I'm laughing at this Twitch chat. This is from Tweakle. Changing one of my quotes during my Ben and Pinata discussion. Matt Binder quote, "Some Argentinians, I assume, are good people."
That's so funny because as you were saying that, I was thinking that. I almost said it. I was like, yeah, I'll leave it.
Yeah, that's actually what I said. I was like, listen, Argentina's not sending their best. They're sending their Messis. They're sending their rapists.
Yeah. Some I assume are good people. Oh, that's great. Here we go. Oh my God, there's so many. I got like 3 left.
This is from me.
Yeah, there's a
Mike N with a super chat. Matt, do you think Cody is bringing home the gold? God, I don't know how they don't let him win that. Have him win that main event. I mean, it's so clear that he has to win. He lost last year. They've been building this up now then for 2 years. The whole finish the story slogan where he has to do what his father, Dusty Rhodes, never accomplished in his storied wrestling career, winning the WWE World Championship. They brought the guy in back in after releasing him many years ago as a big star. I mean, would they have him lose and then do it 3 times next year? A third time's the charm? I don't know. But I think it would hurt him if he didn't win. It would really hurt his momentum. He's got to win. You could easily have him win and let the sort of edge of your seat surprises be like how he wins, who interferes, what happens, how it plays out.
All right, it's 11:40, so I got 3 left. I'm just gonna run through my 3. Danny man, I'd love to stay here longer, but you have children, and I have a child. How are you awake? That was my excuse. My excuse is I have a child, and you have 2. Danny man, thank you for super chat. Says, what are the worst games you played as a kid? Like ones you thought was going to be dope, but was absolutely terrible. Mine was Tiny Tank on Xbox. It depends when kid is. Like, I feel like when I'm a kid, games that were terrible, I liked and didn't realize they were shitty till later on. like Twisted Metal 3, for example. Not a good game, but when I was a kid, I enjoyed Twisted Metal 3. But getting old, like I was super hyped for SOCOM 3. I love SOCOM 1 and 2. SOCOM 3, terrible. They fucking added vehicles, ruined the whole fucking game. That series was never the same again. That's probably the biggest disappointment I've had. But in terms of like just bad games, I can't think of anything else.
Mine is Spice World on PS1. I was really hyped, like unironically.
Oh my god, I remember that
so
game.
Bad.
I forgot about that game. Wow.
It was really bad.
That's
I
a
never
throwback.
played bad games. I always picked out the best games.
I only play the best games.
I only play the best games.
Tremendous.
Kowalski 9.99, not quite 99.99, but still, thank you. Super chat says, in the latest trailer I've seen for the upcoming Civil War movie, the journalist purchased gas with Canadian money as the USD is worthless. How smug will you Canadians be during U.S. Civil War II? Oh, that sounds wonderful. I'm going to be using that. I love it. Last one for me is Zombie. I think they're all the same. There's 3 zombies. You all got the same question, apparently. Zombie says, don't know why you were arguing over Batman when Shrek is where it is at.
That also takes place in New York.
They sent this 3 times. Oh, yes, the magical New York. All right, I got to go. I'd love to stay for more, but you guys have a lot to... Actually, there's not much more.
There's not a lot for me, at least. But yeah, we'll make it through. Yeah,
but
pretty quickly.
Here, we're going to get... I think we were here, so we'll hear Matt talk about wrestling for the next 20 minutes again.
Oh my god. The stream just got extended 20 minutes longer.
There's 2 nights of WrestleMania and there's like 13 matches total. Do you want my predictions for all 13 matches? No, I'm not gonna.
Can we? Oh my god, there's been so much wrestling and hockey talk.
Adam Christopher
I'm dying.
Binder, Adam Christopher Alex Binder, what are your WrestleMania 40 predictions? What matches are you looking forward to? I am looking forward to the whole Bloodline, Rock, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes saga. Rock and Reigns will win the tag match, but Cody will win the world title, I think. I do think we might get a Stone Cold Steve Austin appearance. What else? I think Gunther will retain the Intercontinental title against Sami Zayn. I do think Logan Paul will retain his Intercontinental title. Not Intercontinental, U.S. title over Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. Those are probably the main matches. I don't know if we'll see a Damian Priest Money in the Bank cash in. If we do, it won't be during Reigns Cody. It'll be at the end of Rollins and McIntyre. I think Punk will get involved in that somehow from the commentary booth. What else? I think that's the women's matches. I have no idea. Those are actually the real crapshoots. I have no idea what's going to happen with the 2 women's championships. It could go either way. Yeah, that's my my predictions.
All right, you have 5 gifted subs.
Thank you, Adam Reith, for the 5 gifted subs. Awesome.
And I have a super chat from Bwood171, $2. Thank you so much. The Kervoisier quote is an SNL skit, The Ladies' Man. Oh, okay, that would explain why I wasn't sure, because I don't watch SNL, so I wasn't familiar with it. But thank you for clarifying.
Hold on, people, really quick. People in the chat are shocked because I said Logan Paul. They're going, wait, what? Logan Paul? That Logan Paul? Yes, the YouTuber, the guy who is very annoying online, the one who is notably canceled for many years ago for his the Japanese Suicide Forest video.
Oh right, I guess
the one who
that wasn't permanent.
The one who's has some crypto scams in his past, not so distant past either. Like just last year, he did one again. He joined the WWE. And unfortunately, I hate to be the bearer of bad. Yeah, the guy who's behind the Prime drink, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. But Logan Paul is actually a complete natural when it comes to pro wrestling. He's extremely good at it.
He's so unlikable, though.
As much as I hate to say it, he is a natural heel. He has a perfect hateable character, and then on top of all that, he is very athletic and is able to do some pretty good stuff in the ring. He has found his calling, hopefully. If he was to drop everything else and just be a pro wrestler, he could complete and maybe still sell the Prime drink if he wants to, because that's his real moneymaker. He could potentially become a redeemable person for the rest of his life. So I encourage Logan Paul to continue on this pro wrestling journey and drop everything else except maybe the Prime drink. I get it. Doesn't really hurt anybody.
Jake Paul going to be in wrestling too, or is he just going to do all these?
No, he's actually found success as a boxer. He's going to be. He's got.
He's going to fight Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson on
convicted
Netflix.
Rapist versus accused rapist. That's going to be quite the show.
Has Jake Paul been accused of?
I'm pretty sure he's been accused of a lot. Yeah, as far as I know. The chat can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that there's been some pretty serious allegations. But man, they're like fucking cockroaches. They won't go away. These two Paul people, like, holy fuck, they're so annoying.
Yeah, and brought to you by the Disney Channel. That's where they found their original success as young people.
Oh, really? I thought that it was not TikTok, but Vine.
I think. I mean, they might have been on Vine, but
and then Disney Channel.
The
maybe
beginning of their career was the Disney Channel, if I recall.
Oh no, I think you're right.
Maybe I'm wrong. No, not Logan Paul. That's
right.
No, I'm wrong then. It wasn't. Who's the Disney Channel people I'm thinking of?
No, Jake Paul was Disney.
Jake Paul was Disney Channel. Okay,
yeah.
Logan Paul wasn't. Logan Paul started with YouTube. I knew at least one of them was involved with the Disney Channel.
Okay. All right. So let's see here. Here we go. This one's for you.
Radio Friendly Box with a super chat. Eric Adams supporting Atomic Wedgie since 2007.
That one was for David. This one is from Tokyo Hans for you.
Tokyo Hans, sagging your pants starting in prison is a myth. It got first popularized in the Hispanic community for copying the dress style of golden age of Mexican film actor Cantinflas. Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Next one here. From one of your members.
Is it? Oh, hold on. Oh, it is. Jacqueline Terrell with a membership super chat. Thank you so much, Jacqueline. What was with that scene with The Rock that went viral where the producers told him to stop but kept going and starting beating some guy up? Okay, so this is what's called in wrestling a worked shoot, where this is part of the story, this is part of the script, but they pretend that it's a shoot. So a work in wrestling means it's scripted, it's prepared. A shoot in wrestling is the term for like when it gets real. Like when wrestlers are doing their scripted match in the ring and someone fucks up and the other guy gets pissed at him and then actually like, gives him a, actually like knees him in the face or something to show that he's pissed at him. That's called a shoot. He's not doing something scripted. It got real. So sometimes they do something called a worked shoot to sort of blur those lines. So that night, The Rock on TV as part of the script for television, The Rock attacked Cody Rhodes, made him bleed. What happens is Cody takes a blade and basically like cuts himself on his forehead to make it look like The Rock opened him up and made him bleed. And so The Rock's beating him up, and that's how that episode of Monday Night Raw ended. However, once the television broadcast ended, they had an idea to continue the storyline for this worked shoot so they could go viral online and make it look real, that they have The Rock cut this promo about how he's not going to stop for the TV cameras, and he kept beating up on Cody Rhodes after the, the social media stuff after the TV production ended. And, The Rock is cursing, something they couldn't do on TV. Rock is saying, fuck that, I'm not stopping just because the broadcast ended, just because the camera stopped. Fuck that. It's called a work shoot. It was just exactly for that reason, to make people who don't know this stuff or just casual fans to question like, whoa, that's crazy. This really happened. This is real. It's clever. It's clever, right? But it's all part of the storyline. It's all part of everything.
Interesting. Okay, we've got this one for you. Or no, I'm sorry. This was David Doe. Let me skip to the next one. This is for me, Chris Corcoran, $5. Thank you so much. Fetterman is the real big, stupid, ugly ogre we were warned about in the first Shrek movie. Yeah, that's true. He is a really twisted person. His tweet today, he just like, he said, I forgot what he shared, but then he just said no conditions to Israel. He's a sick, sadistic fuck. I think that was my response to him, because he like honestly seemingly enjoys the destruction. Like he rebels in it. It's really, he's a gross person. Darnell Henriquez with $1.99. Thank you so much. Gotham is set in New Jersey in the comics. Really? This is mind-blowing to me.
Everything I've ever heard about Batman is that Gotham is supposed to be New York City. I mean,
I would have
maybe there
thought.
was. There's a lot of different universes in comics. There's every superhero has multiverses, different comics. So maybe in one of them it was in New Jersey. I have no idea.
Okay, so we got this one. One for each of us. Thank you, Zombie. Appreciate that from me and Matt as well. And then this one's for you.
Wait, hold on. I think you skipped one.
Did I?
Best Boomer Vida.
Isn't that this one?
I'll read this one. Best Boomer Vida with a $5 super chat. Dr. Shiva for 2024. I'm assuming this is a joke, because Dr. Shiva is that crazy right-winger who claims he invented email. And he runs for president every now and then. Yeah. But Best Boomer Vida sent one earlier. Right after the
this one, right?
Memberships. Yeah. So Best Boomer Vida sent me. This was another $100 super chat. This is the second $100 super chat Best Boomer Vida sent today.
Best Boomer, what the hell? That's crazy.
Boomer. And then on top of that, he sent that Dr. Shiva comment, which I hope right. But Best Boomer Vida says, what do you guys do for work during daytime hours? I will answer that. But after your 2 separate $100 super chats, I also have to pose that question to you, Best Boomer Vida.
Yeah,
what do you do for work?
No kidding.
But I appreciate it. Thank you. Everyone knows what I do. I'm quite clear. I talk about it a lot because a lot of times my work becomes part of the topic of conversation. I'm a full-time journalist with Mashable, the tech and digital culture website. That's my full-time job. It pays me a salary, healthcare, all that. I would love for this to be, and maybe one day this could be, but not quite there yet. Not really close, but I also don't want to put it down either. If this was me maybe 10, 15 years ago before I had kids, I could potentially pull off of living strictly off of the podcast, the Patreon, the YouTube, the Twitch, my Majority Report appearances, all the other little side things I do. All that combined could potentially have sustained a Matt Binder living in the early 2010s, paying for a small studio / technically 1 bedroom, even though it was really a studio size. And my wife was also working. The amount I make from that could have sustained me then with all that combined. But now, as the sole provider, wife takes care of the kids because they come home from school and I'm still working. And as someone who has 2 kids and no longer lives in a small studio, it's not enough now, but maybe one day. So there, I gave you a really detailed explanation of what I do for a living and what my financial situation is. I'm also not rolling in the dough either. We very much live paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, I do this full time. Humanist Report is my main job. So I am I'm very grateful. Okay.
And I think David Dole also does this full time as well as Lance, right?
Yeah, I want to say yeah.
Damn,
yeah,
you guys live in my dream. All 3 of you.
Okay, Okay, let me see where we're at. Okay, so I think it's this one. Bayphoto sends in $1.99. Thank you, Bayphoto. PEMDAS in bio. I like that. This one's for you.
Kowalski with a $10 super chat. NYC is too safe. I was there in January 2023 and was fairly disappointed. I wanted to battle maniacs in the subway, cocaine goons on Wall Street, confront Italians. No fun. Good food though, but mid pizza. I will pretend you didn't say that last one. But also, you could still find the cocaine goons on Wall Street. Those are definitely still there.
That's true. I think this one's for you too.
Mike N with a super chat. What do you think of LA Knight? Listen, I always give props to these guys. I respect every one of these wrestlers tremendously. It is one of the most insane, unique jobs on the planet. There's no job security. Even when you get to the big leagues, WWE, all these guys who work for WWE are independent contractors, even though WWE basically controls their schedule and everything they do. It's a very wishy-washy area. I'm surprised, the government hasn't gotten involved, or I'm surprised, really, the most obvious thing to me is SAG-AFTRA getting involved and making these guys, fighting for these guys to join their union, because they are TV stars, essentially. But LA Knight, super happy to see a guy who's been at it for decades, finally in his early 40s hit it big and find his niche. He found a character that finally fit. The WWE fans are behind him. He's got a catchphrase, this whole yeah thing. Doesn't do it for me. He feels too much like just a combination of a bunch of guys from the 90s. But that's just my opinion and what I don't like. I fully support the guy. I wish him the very best in his career. In his match with AJ Styles, though, you know what? I would root for LA Knight to win just because he could use the rub more than AJ Styles. That win for AJ wouldn't do anything. That win for LA Knight would get him further in his career. So, you know what? I would root for LA Knight, even though I'm not a big fan of his character.
Okay, last but not least, we have Tokyo Hans with 1,000 yen. Now that the Canadians are out of here, thought I'd show you some support too. Thank you, Tokyo. I appreciate that. Well, that's all. Do you have anything on Twitch, Matt, that you need to shout out?
Oh, yeah. Let me check it out. Not much, but we got one. Ponderosapine over on Twitch. Resubscribed for 1 month at tier 1. Subscriber for 27 months. Oh my
goodness.
God. Thank you so much, Ponderosapine. Really appreciate it. And yeah, we did it.
We did it. Who do we want to rate today?
We started the super chats super early today, too. Not super early, but much earlier than we usually do. Usually we start at 10:30. We started like 10 after 10, which we've never done before. And still we've managed to almost go 3.5 hours and end the show at midnight. What is wrong with us, Mike? What are we doing?
I don't know. I'm tired too, but I'm just like, I'm sticking it out.
I can't complain though, because I actually really enjoy doing the super chat questions.
I do
you guys
too.
Make it fun, honestly. I like the questions, no matter what they are, whether they're politics or pro wrestling or pop culture or whatever. I enjoy it, so that's why I stick it out and stay.
Yeah, it's a great distraction from like other stuff.
Also, the money's nice too, but who should we rate on Twitch? Let's see.
There's a bunch of people. There's actual Jake, Conyer, Trihex, Carter, Ravana, Doodleburb. There's Prime K. There's a lot of people on. So does anyone have a recommendation?
A super chat just came in last minute, really quick. Zombie says, have you ever considered bringing on Midas Touch, David Pacman, Brian Cohen, Jesse Dollarmore, etc.? I would have on all those people.
Yeah, I would too, for sure.
Midas Touch is a little bit more.
I didn't know the people behind them. I don't know the personalities. I just know like the website,
the name of the company, right?
Yeah,
they're a little bit normie Democrat for us, but you know what? They could be a good guest to have on to the lead up to the the election. Maybe a little friendly debate about Biden. from people who are obviously not, it could be a friendly debate. Pac-Man, I would have him on. He's probably too big to come on here though.
Same with Brian. Yeah, I would have him on though too. But these are really big accounts.
Jesse Dollarmore. Why does that name sound familiar?
He's also like he's pretty big. I think he has like 1 million subscribers or something. He does.
Oh.
Yeah, he's kind of more like social dem. Really nice guy.
He might come on.
I'd have him all on. Yeah, and I'd have
He's
all
around
them
the
on.
same subscriber as like you and David. He's a little bit more. He's not too much more though.
Oh, is he? Oh, okay. He seems like a nice guy. Oh, okay, that's pretty good. He seems like a really nice guy. I've only had positive interactions with him, I think, on like Twitter and stuff. But yeah, it seems nice. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you all want us to do? I know that I'm asking mostly the YouTube audience because we have a very small Twitch audience, but who should we raid? What do you all say?
I see. As for who's on right now, I see Conyer is on. I see Hamosi Goat is on. I see.
We should do Conyer because I don't think we've ever rated Conyer.
Rayvon is on. Oh, no, I think Rayvon is just cross streaming. Here I go again. Dan from the web.
Oh, okay.
But we did Dan from the web last time, so we could do something different.
Yeah, let's try to.
I do send them over to Conyer. Let's see. What are people in the chat saying? Any suggestions from people who maybe I'm not following?
I see Ravana and Lotta Glotz. I've never heard of Lotta Glotz.
Who's that? How's that spelled? I don't even see that.
It is Lottaglots.
I'm not sure who that is. Let's rate Conyer.
Okay.
Let me pull that up. Hold on.
It's Conyer CC.
Conyer CC. Yep.
Yeah, CONURECC.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna start the raid. I'm clicking that start raid button, and I'm gonna say, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Leftist Mafia. We'll see you all next week.
Yeah. It's been a great show. Thank you all for watching. All right.